His full name is Thomas Cruise Mayweather. His breakout role. His breakout role is in the 1980 film Risky Business, where he famously danced in his underwear to Bob Seger's all-time rock and roll. All-time rock and roll. All-time rock and roll. All-time rock and roll. Cruise has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards throughout his career. For Born on the 4th of July, 1989, Jerry Maguire, I'm Magnolia, Magnolia, Magnolia. 1989. Cruise is known for performing many of his own stunts. For example, in the Mission Impossible series, he has done everything from hanging off buildings to flying helicopters. 5. Scientology. Tom Cruise is a prominent advocate for the Church of Scientology and has been one of its most famous and outspoken members for decades. 6. He's a pilot. Cruise is a certified pilot and has flown in a variety of aircraft, including jets, helicopters, and even the World War II era plane he flew in Top Gun Maverick. 7. Personal life. Cruise has been married 3 times to actresses Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes. 8. Box office king. His movies have grossed billions worldwide. Mission Impossible Fallout was one of the most successful films of his career. International film is 17. Cruise set a world record. The most stunts performed in a single movie, surpassing his own previous record in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Cruise is actively involved in various charitable organizations, particularly those supporting children and helping with disaster relief efforts. Tom Cruise has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards throughout his career. For Born on the 4th of July, 1989, Jerry Maguire, and Magnolia, 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 Magnolia. Though Cruise is not elegant, for Cruise is a prominent advocate for the Church of Scientology that has been one of its most famous and outspoken members for decades. 6. He's a pilot. Cruise set a world record.
City lights like diamonds blink on tired streets. Honking horns play symphonies where chaos meets. Move like shadows on a neon painted stage. In this moonlit traffic, let's turn another page. Morning coffee symphonies rise with the dawn. Busy bees in their
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks, depending from where you guys are joining in. How's everyone doing today? Before we start, let me know how's everyone doing and can we have a couple of more cameras switched on as well? Good to see so many faces. All right, awesome. So, folks, without wasting any further time, I'm going to quickly start about what today is going to be all about. And from there, get into Python. That is what we are here for today. All right, quickly going to start sharing my screen. And, folks, it's okay. You can keep your camera on, you don't need to switch it off. I'll also give a very quick intro. But before I get into the introduction, folks, let me know if I am clear. Can you hear and see me clearly? Yes? All right. Awesome. So, folks, before we start, quickly tell me where are you guys joining from? Which part of the world are you joining from? Netherlands, India, UAE, Germany, Canada, India, Bangalore, Dallas, France, Poland, Canada, Bangalore, USA, Australia, Mumbai, London, Seattle, Chennai, Sydney, Pune, Switzerland, USA, Dubai, Gurgaon, US, Bangalore. Wow, brilliant. Lovely. Lovely to see the kind of people that we have on the call. Folks, is it not fun to get to know people from all over the world? These are going to be your peers, and you guys are going to be discussing and talking with each other and work in the breakout rooms also later on together and get to know each other better. So it's going to be a fun next 15 days that we have all together. All right. So, welcome to the Engineering AI Accelerator program, where your journey towards AI native engineering starts. Now, I know a lot of you folks might not understand a few words that I would say or a few terminologies that I would throw towards you as well. That is completely okay. That is why you are here, and we are here to teach you. Okay. So, if you don't understand, that's completely fine. Do not worry, and I'll explain to you later. I'll also explain to you what a native engineer is all about. LMS space and all of those questions I will answer towards the end. All right. Let me quickly do this and then I'll also do a walkthrough towards LMS and your schedule. Okay. Great. So, folks, this is what you already have access to. So, for people who have done the complete payment as well, you'll have access to all of these things. For people who have not, will not have access to any of these things. You have 7+ AI tools, 70 plus hours of AI training and building products that we're going to have in the next 14 days together. After you complete your 14 days with us, after your graduation, you'll have one session every week, which is the we call as AI updates, and a few pre-recorded sessions are already uploaded, including our content library, that is one, and also your Kairos Business School. And a lot of other things is already uploaded. So, guys, are we ready? Are we ready to start? Can I get a little energy in the chat? Are we ready, folks? Let's go. All right. Great. Awesome. A quick introduction about me, folks. I am going to be your host and your friend for the next 2 weeks. I'll be here with you. My name is Karthik, as you can see on the screen. I have a background in electronics and telecommunications, but soon after that, I also have a background in business. I've done my MBA. So I come from a perspective of both tech and business side, and both of them combined, I work as an AI growth specialist at Outskill and also been a researcher, practitioner, and I've taught a little bit here and there as well in terms of AI processes, in terms of automation, in terms of N10. That is someone who I am. After. Okay, so all right, before we begin, folks, quick notes just to clarify that we'll not be teaching in terms of AI anything today. We're going to be more in terms of Python because as an engineering accelerator, we'll be doing heavy in the codes as we go ahead in the learning sessions of AI. So a little bit of basics in terms of Python is what we'll be covering and GitHub. All the questions regarding the sessions will be taken towards the end. I know you have questions regarding LMS, onboarding. I'll answer them as well. Please do not spam the chat. I love the energy. I would love you guys that you are active. You keep asking questions, but I don't want you guys to spam the chat and ask the same question multiple times. If you've asked it, don't worry, we will answer. Please do not use any abusive or sensitive, language or content against me, your fellow learners, or to those mentors as well. Because if you do so, irrespective of you've paid or not, I will be forced to remove you from the call. If you guys want to use a bio break, folks, if your camera is on, you can switch off your camera, go get up, take a bio break. You don't need to ask for a break for that. And for you to make most of the program, folks, always have your cameras ready. Try to join from your laptops and take down as much notes as possible. All right. So what's the agenda? Before I get into the agenda, folks, there is someone very special who wants to talk to you. Can I get him on the screen? Guys, can I get him on the screen? And I know 95% of the people already know who he is. All right, folks. So your one of your mentors, Ishan, he wanted to discuss and say hi to you folks.
Hello everyone, how are we doing today? Excited for the accelerator? I can see a couple of faces. Can I see a couple of more faces, people? Someone has written very accelerated.
Ready to go. I think so. Most of you guys know who he is. You might have seen him during your mastermind.
Yeah, I actually came here just to say you all hello from the office itself. It's going to be an intense 2 weeks, something I am extremely sure that you all will remember throughout life. And learning and all is like at one place, but ensure that you also enjoy the process, because the next time you see me, which is going to be at the end of the second week, where we will learn about building agents, you will be at a very different spot. So you are going to give like 3 to 4 hours every day. Please try to attend everything online. Like most of the accelerator cohorts we have done, most people have been there online, more than 95% attendance across cohorts. And I would expect nothing less than same for this cohort. Please, you can ask as many questions as you want towards the end of the session. Try to follow through as much as your mentor is saying and do the assignments, whatever is given to you. But yeah, have lots of fun and keep learning. I will see you in 2 weeks.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ishan. All right, great. He was in office. We were having some discussions. He just wanted to say hi to you folks before we start. So that's the only reason that I had to stop. Don't worry. I'll take all the questions towards the end, folks. Quickly going to the agenda. What we'll be talking about is who is a native engineer, roadmap of your accelerator, what your 14 days is going to be like, what is the end outcome of your program, what skills you'll be developed after this 14 days, who are the mentors, who are going to be these people who will come and teach you for the next 14 days, community policies, logistics, how it's going to work, how the recordings would work, when we'll be able to give you the recordings, all of those things, and lastly, Q&A. All right. So, folks, why have you chosen Engineering AI Accelerator? What was the reason that you are here today? What made you decide that you want to be a part of this cohort? I want to know in the chat. What was the reason, folks? What made you decide that you want to be part of this cohort? Hands-on, okay. Change in career, practical knowledge, job, be relevant into tech through AI, yes. Bored of being a developer, okay. Building applications, career growth, adaptation, sustaining in the role, like the content, okay. Hands-on teaching, definitely, yes, we'll have that. How we'll have that, I'll get into it. Quality content, networking, okay. Ivan says AI, AI, AI. Yes, the world works on three things: AI, AI, AI. Career leap, transformation, get what is happening in the world of AI, all AI. Yes, more of people are trying to use AI, but they don't have the full context. Definitely, brand kill AI building, job updates. All right, interesting. Upskill. All right. It gives me a gist of why you guys are here. So now why I asked this was sometimes we try to pivot a few sessions according to what we understand major of you guys want. That's why we keep it live so that we can have changes in real time for you guys. That is why we take this. All right. So who's an AI native engineer after all? An AI native engineer is someone who embraces AI not as a tool, but as a fundamental part of their software development cycle. Basically, it is like a partner which you are using, which you are orchestrating in a way that it is not just a tool anymore. You are not solely dependent on it as well, but it is not like you don't know which tool to use, how to use, when to use. For example, if I have to do a lot of coding, I would be using Claude. If you want to do some image generation or something, you'll use some other tool. So to understand which tool is also suitable, where transforming from just a code executor, like someone mentioned, bored of being a developer, to being an orchestrator. What an orchestrator is someone who will be leading and working with multiple agents and making them work as that person wants them to. That is what an orchestrator would do. He's someone who's a problem solver and a go-to person in your organizations. You want to become a go-to person whenever there's a question regarding AI or not sure how to solve a problem, you should be the go-to person in your organization as well. And leverages AI agents for basic tasks. That is what even we do on a daily basis. So, roadmap of the accelerator. Instead of showing you the deck, you know what? I'm going to show you this. I think so. All of you guys have access to this. Yes. Yes. No in the chat. Yes. Okay. By chance, if anyone does not, I'm going to share it just in case. Just in case you don't, I'm sharing it. Okay. This is what your curriculum is going to look like. So, folks, I'm going to give you a heads up. We are not changing anything in terms of the content. Content is the same. But we are going to change the dates of a few sessions, as in there will no be any miss, but we may rearrange a few sessions. Now, why we are doing this rearranging? Because, folks, this is the 5th cohort that we are running in Engineering Accelerator. And from our past cohorts and our experience and feedbacks, we've understood which particular session also works better and when. So after I rearrange, don't worry, I'll rearrange on this sheet itself. So when you see this sheet again on Sunday morning, I repeat, on Sunday morning, you will see the changes. Don't worry, the content, if you want, you can take screenshot right now. The content will remain same. Everything will remain same. Just these dates would rearrange. For example, costing would go later on, because costing we understood should come last after you understand agents. Because if you don't understand how you will be, I would not say losing money, but spending your money when you're building agents, sometimes you're not even sure how much money you'll end up spending, how much tokens you'll be end up spending. That's why we want you to understand agents first and then the costing session. So we've rearranged a few things, so you don't have to worry about it. How the session goes is, today we'll be doing a kickoff session, a walkthrough of your circle walkthrough, Q&As, and Python Basecamp, where we'll show you a few things about your system setup and all those things, which will help you in your coming weeks. Monday is the first session. We'll be doing prompt engineering, chat completion, and OpenAI standard, where you'll be understanding different kinds of prompting, which is different for techies. So you might have heard of magic prompt, you might have heard of one-shot prompt, all of those different promptings. But we'll focus on XML and JSON prompting. That is something that is super important when you're talking in terms of techies. Then we'll get into Hugging Face, Gradio, and local models. Now, I know a lot of you guys might not know what Hugging Face is. It's a platform where you get a lot of open source models you can leverage. There's thousands of models over there. Gradio is like a front-end application where you can build a front-end application. If you know Streamlit, Gradio is similar to Streamlit, but at a testing level. Like if you want to use it for basic development and see how it is doing at an MVP stage. So we'll help you understand that. And then you will build a ChatGPT kind of an application. So it'll, again, I repeat, ChatGPT kind of an application. We are not building a ChatGPT model because we don't have the bandwidth or the cost or the, you could say, infrastructure to build a ChatGPT model, but a ChatGPT app. Then we get into automations. We'll be using N10 for your automations. How tech automations work is a little different. I have a few open, but I don't want to show you right now. I don't want to scare you away at this moment. And then we'll build a full stack application. So where N10 will act as your backend. I hope these words are clear to everyone what backend and frontend means. I hope I don't have to explain what backend and frontend is. Yes, this is clear, right? Yeah. I'm assuming as an engineering accelerator, a lot of people know what backend and frontend is. So N10 will act as your backend, and for frontend, we'll use Google AI Studio. It will become like a full stack application where you might have known a few applications which help you post maybe on, let's say it helps you post on LinkedIn, right? It's an application. You guys might have seen those tools as well. Maybe even have access of such tools, where you have LinkedIn profiling, where you can post on LinkedIn. So we'll build an application which is similar to that. So you see these tools that are available in the market, we build tools like this. It's very simple. That's what we'll be working towards. Then we get into RAGs. I'm not getting deep into it right now, but towards the end, you'll build an application which is like a second brain of your own. We like to call it Atlas. And we had named this in last year, September. So this is the name has continued and we've kept it as Atlas. Then we'll go more deeper into open sources and basics, you would say, of machine learning, not deep. Costing will be towards the end. I already explained you what costing is. MCP, the power of MCP is what you will learn. Model context protocol. We will get into AI-led coding, something like Cursor that you guys might have known about. Cursor, anti-gravity. That is something that we'll talk. Then comes the main course that we call as agents, AI agents, where you will be learning LangChain, LangSmith, and LangGraph. Now, if you ask me why we chose these particular workflows or models, because the people who are going to be teaching you are people who work in the, you could say, there are different organizations in the current world. They know what is working, what is currently ongoing, and what is not. So based on that information, we have decided this is the most relevant and one of the most advanced workflows. That's why we are covering this. This Ishan mentioned building Orion. So if you guys know what Orion is, that is what we'll be doing towards the end, and then we'll have hackathon. Let me go back. Actually, I've covered a lot of different things already in the slide. What's the end outcome is like? So, folks, what skills make you an AI tech professional? Is someone who understands LLMs, RAGs, promptings, open source, MCP, and agents, the things that we'll be covering. And all of these things are somewhere or the other connected with each other. How they are connected? We have the 15 days for it. Don't worry, we'll take you through it. And what is next after becoming an AI native engineer is someone who's an AI problem solver, irrespective of your domain. Any task that would come your way, you can understand if Gen AI can do also or not. Yes, there are still some limitations with generative AI. It is not all the way there yet, but it is growing every minute, every second as we speak. As we speak, we are currently working with OpenClaw as well. So yes, it is changing very drastically. Become the go-to person with terms of generative AI and treat AI like a partner with the depth of knowledge that is required that people have been spending, these mentors have spent years for, which we are giving you in 14 days. How are these skills useful? Folks, you already know how these skills are useful. That is why you are here. Is to build strategic AI solution, creating business value, new monetization opportunities, not just for your organization, but for yourself as well, and accelerate adoption of AI, position yourself as a top AI engineering expert. This is what we call as a T-shape analysis. This is the width, this is the depth. This is what we want to learn as an AI native engineer. So 14 days teaching plan, folks. I've already covered this. So I'm going to skim through this. I already covered what the 14 days plan is in the spreadsheet. So I'm going to quickly go through this so that I don't want to waste a lot of your time. Sprint 1 is building ChatGPT application. Sprint 2 is automations. Sprint 3 is customization of AI and RAG. Sprint 4 is open sources and costing. Sprint 5 is AI agents. Sprint 6 is advanced AI agents, where you'll get into LangGraph and LangSmith. Here it was LangChain, MCP, and Cursor. And Sprint 7 is hackathon. Okay? Folks, am I clear so far? Yes? All right. Awesome. Folks, these are going to be your mentors. I had told you who these mentors are going to be. You already saw Ishan. He was on the call. Ishan Datta is an ML engineer too at Adobe. We have Dilip Kari, who's a head of AI initiatives here at Outskill. Paras Madan, who's an AI engineer. He actually was an AI engineer at Athena AI. He has recently quit his job and has started something of his own. He's building something of his own in India. Akhil, quick update about Akhil. He was initially a learner of AI with us, like a couple of, like I think so, a year or two back. But since then, he's become a mentor, full-time mentor with us. And there is not one program where Akhil is not a part of. Srishti, who's a machine learning researcher, who's worked in one of the top companies, whichever you see, if you go on a LinkedIn, you will be mesmerized in the companies that she's worked. King Siddharth, who's actually already on the call as well, will be doing your Python onboarding. He's already on the call. Don't worry. In the next 10 minutes, I'll hand it over to him. He's an AI agent consultant, educator, product head here as well. And personally, someone who loves AI. Like if you sit with him and discuss AI with him, you can sit for like 6, 7 hours and he can still go on and discuss. That is something that we also do in office with him. It's always lovely to discuss AI with him. Antaripa, who's a machine learning engineer too as well. Divesh Bajaj, who's a data and applied scientist too at Microsoft. So these are going to be your mentors for the sessions. Folks, our LMS is on phone as well. How you can go on phone. Before I go into it, I'm going to quickly show you our LMS. I'm so sorry, Siddharth, we are running 5 minutes late. I'm going to hand it over here soon. So folks, this is your LMS looks like. If you want, here is the link. Here is your LMS link. Folks, you have to go here and log in with the same email ID from which you had paid. You can log in Google with the same email ID. For people who have not completed the payment, this is the page that you will see, right? You can see over here program schedule, the 14-day sprint, and nothing else. Now, once you complete your entire payment, you will be shifted to a full onboarding where you'll be also given one-on-one onboarding, tools access, and all the session recordings and live sessions you'll be able to get. Now, how you can get in touch with us, I will get to it towards the end. Team, can we share the email ID with the folks? Admissions email ID. So for whoever who is on the partial payment and wants to complete the rest of the payment and attend all the live sessions from Monday, if you don't pay the rest of the amount, you will not be able to attend the sessions from Monday. If you want to do that, we are sharing an email ID. You can just drop a mail to us over there and our team will get in touch with you and help you with the rest of the payment and the onboarding. For people who have done the complete payment, this is the page that you will see. You see over here something called as book one-on-one onboarding. Folks, if you've not done your onboarding yet, go and do one-on-one onboarding where we'll help you understand the entire LMS in a one-on-one conversation where you can even ask doubts. If by chance, if you've done your onboarding already, you've completed your onboarding, and if you have doubts after onboarding, you can do it from here only regarding LMS, not regarding the program or the sessions, only regarding the LMS. I repeat. And folks, scroll down, click on see more. When you click on see more, here is where you will get your onboarding form. You have to fill this onboarding form. Join the WhatsApp community over here. So folks, you have all the people who have not joined the WhatsApp community yet, you can join it from here. Click. This is a WhatsApp joining link. Please join. All the updates will be shared over there. Clear so far? Folks, clear? Not clear? Yes? All right. Awesome. All the live sessions you will find here, as the name suggests, live sessions, live sessions. So folks, resources and recordings. As you see, already a starter kit prerequisites have been uploaded. This is basically the Python fundamentals that we spoke about. All recordings will be uploaded over here. All decks will be uploaded over here. Your pre-reads will be uploaded here. Your post-reads will be uploaded here. But recordings, folks, takes time because if a session goes on for 3 to 4 hours, Zoom takes around 9 to 10 hours to process the recordings and give it back to us. There is nothing that I, Outskill, or anyone has the power. It is Zoom who can do it only. So Zoom takes that much time. So if a session ends, for example, at 11 p.m. IST, I repeat, 11 p.m. IST, your recordings will be uploaded the next day before 11 a.m. IST. So within 12 hours, we will upload your recordings. I hope that is clear as well. Moving ahead, folks, before Monday, I want all of you guys to come and give your introductions over here. Each and every one of you. How to do it? New post. This is heading, folks. This is just the heading, title. Don't write everything here. Hey, this is where you write your introduction. I am Karthik, growth manager, or whatever that you would like to like. You can write over there along with your LinkedIn ID. If you want to post it, you can post it there. Ask doubts. This is where you can post the doubts regarding your sessions that you may have that we will help you regarding the sessions. Reflections and gratitude is something that I will talk to you about on Monday, so you don't have to worry about it. That's completely fine. And tech support is, for example, if you're facing any issues, you can write here. Our team will get in touch with you within 24 hours. I hope that helps. Yes. For people who want to download the mobile application of our LMS, here is the link. Mobile app. All right. I'm going to quickly walk through this. Towards the end, folks, we'll have an online graduation. That will be your after hackathon gets over. The Monday after that, we'll do the online graduation, giving you a heads up. Let's recap, folks, quickly. What's the end outcome of the program? We want to become AI native engineers. You already have received 7+ AI tools worth so and so amount. You have gotten 13 deep tool dives, AI workflows, AI libraries for monetizations, and 7 sprints of the programs that I've make you through. Circle is the platform where you can get all your resources, all your recordings, all your AI tools are available over there. What time do your sessions start? Your session starts every weekday. Weekday means Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. IST. I repeat, Monday to Friday, we will start at 7 p.m. IST. It will go until around 10:30 to 11 p.m. IST every Monday to Friday. Every weekend, Saturdays, Sundays, not this Saturday, Sunday, folks. We are not doing anything this weekend because our sessions actually start on Monday. Every weekend will be 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST approximately. Some weekends or some days I leave you early. All of that will be mentioned in your program curriculum and schedule. So you can check that on Sunday morning. You will get the final program curriculum and schedule over there. You can go through it. One question to ask. I will attend dash part of the program live. When I say live, live means like you are right now in the session. Folks, what percentage? 50, 100, 110, 80, 90? Can I get an answer? While you guys are answering, one more thing about me, I'll let you know. If I ask a question and you guys don't reply, I'm going to keep asking you the same question. Time zone difference. Except for 5th April, Easter. Okay, interesting. No, I can understand that definitely. 100, all right. So for people who have said, I am glad. And if you guys, I would really be happy if you guys can attend 100%. By chance you miss 1 or 2 sessions, that is fine. I can understand for work time differences, different time zones, but please go through the recordings if you're coming to the next session. Because if you don't go through recordings as well and join the next session, sometimes it could be a break, you may not be able to understand. So if by chance you miss, attend the recordings. So folks, you have access to the tools, schedule, circle, community groups. I've told you, you can find it on Circle. If you want, I will reiterate how to use LMS after your session ends towards the end. Self-paced courses, you have pre-reads we will provide to you whenever necessary, and live sessions will happen after 14 days. Do's and don'ts. Before you ask a doubt to the mentor, guys, think twice and thrice. There is something called as AI Companion on Zoom. We have it on always. By chance you've joined 10 minutes late, you're not sure, oh, what was covered. Instead of asking a recap for everyone who's on the call, around 150 people, along with the mentor, just go to the AI Companion and ask, what did you miss? It will let you know the answer. Ask only live session concepts. Whatever is taught today, only ask questions regarding that. Please do not ask questions out of the scope and out from altogether different while we are doing Q&A every session towards the end. Do sign up for every session live. Respect everyone and help your peers when they are in the need. Please do not skip any worksheets. We'll be providing a few assignments, breakout room sessions. So please do not skip those things because when you practice, you will learn better. Don't miss attending the live sessions. Don't spam. Ask the right questions in the right place. Please don't be disrespectful towards me, my team, mentors, or your fellow peers. Last 2 slides, last 2-3 points I have to cover. I'm so sorry, folks. Message from the founder of Outskill Weber before we begin our journey together, folks. Remember, we are in this together. You, me, my team, Outskill, every one of us are in this together. I request you to keep your experience hats aside, folks. I don't want you guys to come and say that, hey, I have 15 years experience, I have 10 years experience, I have 30 years of experience anymore. From tomorrow on, anyone asks you who you are, you will say, I am a learner. Who am I? I am a learner. But folks, please do not use this in your organizations. Don't go in your organization and say that, hey, I am a learner. Karthik told me that I am a learner. I do not take accountability for that. You are a learner when you are in the session. I hope that is clear. All right, awesome. Folks, when you're in the session, you are not working professionals, you are learners. All right. Also, you might know a few things that we teach. Sometimes you may know, but I can guarantee around 80 to 90% is something that you will not know. By chance, you know a little more, you can help your peers, and it could also be a good revision for you. Folks, this is a partnership. I'm not here going to make any false claims. There's a high chance that, we are going to make mistakes. And I'm going to tell you in the start, we're going to make mistakes. Not as in terms of we will make it on purpose. there's a chance that we may make a few mistakes. All right. But when we make these mistakes, folks, that is possible because AI changes rapidly. That is possible because there are people from all the different industries and experience. So it is not possible for me to cover all the industries. Some we may, some we may not. But when we make these mistakes, I ask you guys to be understanding because, folks, there is no such playbooks. There is nothing that we've done. Every cohort is a new learning for us. Every cohort is different from its previous one. So we try to take learnings as we go in these 14 days. So when we make these mistakes, I want you guys to understand because it's a partnership. When you need help, even we will be there. Make sure that we will be doing that. So, folks, I remind all of us are in this together. Me, my team, the mentors, and you guys. Combined together, we're going to be having a lot of fun in these next 15 days. Are you guys with me? Yes? A little more excitement in the chat, folks. All right. Awesome. So what we expect from you is understand the situation, support us as partners, and be patient while we fix things. So, folks, sometimes there may be some issues that may take a little longer. So if you're not able to find the joining link, you can check the WhatsApp community. Easily, you will find it over there. If you're not able to find it in the WhatsApp community, then you can go on a LMS and find it. Recordings, folks, recordings already explained. Zoom takes 6 to 7 hours to process it. Once it processes, our team will upload it. Sadly, there is no automation that we can set up. We have tried, folks, trust us. We've tried all kinds of automation possible to upload it directly, but it does not work, even through API keys. So it takes around that much time. The complex problem is tools. So a few of the tools that may be there, it may take a little longer because it's not under me. I have to go and talk to the people who have built that tool. I have to discuss with them and get the tools for you. So sometimes that may be an issue. I already mentioned for people who have made partial, you will miss out on everything else post today's session. You will go through the Python base camp, but you'll not be able to see anything else till you complete the rest of the payment. And for people who have paid full, they already have automatic access to everything after 6 hours that you've done the complete payment. Okay. So, folks, you already have everything that you need to win. So, without wasting any further time, I know I've taken a lot of your time. I don't want to take any more. Let me quickly introduce you to your mentor, who's here today, already on the call, King Siddharth.
How's everyone doing? You can just call me Siddharth. All right. Let's get started.
Yes.
Is my audio fine? Some of you are having issues with Karthik's audio. His audio was fine. So if that is you just by any chance, just try rejoining. I'll wait for 30 seconds. My audio is fine. Love the glasses. Yeah, I have 2 glasses. Like one is AI, one is real. That's the fun about the new, AI things, that you can change them and become, something else or someone else. But enough of that. We'll just get started. I'll share my screen. Today we are looking at Python basics. Just in case you don't use Python day in, day out, or use an agent to do Python day in, day out, the new normal.
Siddharth, before we start,
Yeah.
so sorry. Folks, can we give a very warm welcome to Siddharth in the chat? Because for 3-hour sessions or 2-hour sessions, folks, they have to prepare. As you can see, he's already prepared a doc for you. It takes a lot of time to prepare that doc. And also I spoke for half an hour. I am tired. I want to drink water now. These mentors talk for 2-3 hours. Can we have a very warm welcome to Siddharth in the chat, folks?
Thank you, folks.
Awesome.
Thanks, Karthik. All right. And this is a document. I'm sharing that with you. Thank you. I'll wait for the chat to calm down and I'll share that. Meanwhile, I hope people have rejoined and I hope my audio is all right for you. Because then we want to, go in the flow. So here's the document. You can open it and keep it aside. This document will be yours. This will be updated on LMS as well. Just keep it aside, come back. I'll give you a walkthrough. Whatever is important, worth talking about, we'll talk about right here. So the course is focused on generative AI. And trust me, there is a lot for us to cover. And there are a few facts as a person who loves learning and loves teaching. I have observed that there is a limited attention span every human being has. And in the modern day and age, it's completely fried. Our collective attention spans are overtaken by the reels and TikToks and whatnot. So so some of you, while you're trying to open this document, you may see an error. That is not because the document is gone. It's just Google is struggling with this much traffic. That's all right. As long as you have the link later on, it will become accessible to you. So do not worry. And it will be on LMS as well. I will be drawing on a whiteboard. The whiteboard is on my machine. This is the software I use for it. Once the session is done, I will update the link here in the chat and on the LMS as usual. So don't worry. All of this material that you will see today is shared with you in one way or the other, preferably multiple ways. One quick, couple of quick tips that I want to share that I think I've listed in the document as well. For example, right here. During the live sessions, you want to focus on learning. Whether it's do it along or not will usually let you know. If you feel confident that you can do it along, go for it. If you feel like you're not able to do it along, focus on the session, because that is the more important part. If the live chat is distracting you, you can minimize that, close that window. There are multiple things you can do. We keep it open because the information keeps flowing. Otherwise, you saw how I got muted, and if the chat was closed, I wouldn't even know. Karthik would have to call me to inform, and that takes a long time. It's irritating. So we keep the chat open so we can see the questions, feedback, etc. If it's distracting to you, you can close that off. Now, last but not the least, there will be a lot of links that are shared, etc. Majority of them, the official ones, will be on your LMS. However, I have observed, at least with me and other mentors as well, when we are discussing things, when we are in Q&A, and sometimes there's a new resource that just came out hours back, because AI world moves very fast. We might end up sharing some resource in the chat, etc. That is a little bit useful. In those cases, I highly recommend that maintaining notes and maintaining links is a personal business altogether. I personally am a big fan of Raindrop. I'm not affiliated in any way. Raindrop.io, they have a free tier. It's a bookmark manager. You can install that. You can put bookmarks in your Chrome by clicking this button, star button. There are different ways, and everybody has their own way of taking notes. Everyone has their own way of bookmarking. So it's best if you maintain that yourself, because you will find it organized the way you want it, right? And we've tried some other ways. Essentially, what ends up happening is either we keep missing the links, and then it doesn't do what it needs to do, or we have to stop people from sharing links, which doesn't make sense either, right? If you spoke about something which is relevant to you now, suddenly we want there to be all the space to be able to share it. With basics out of the way, today we are talking about Python, the basics. As I've said, the course is focused on GenAI. There's a lot to learn. So today we want to have an important milestone that get you up to speed, give you a couple of demos, and make you familiar with Python, its ecosystem, how it works. And there are a couple of things we will cover. Python is one, Git is another, GitHub and free account, Visual Studio Code, which will be the IDE of choice. It's a free one. You can download it here. All of these things are free, by the way. So you wouldn't need to pay for any of this. The idea is to limit the Python discussion and limitations to this day in point, because tomorrow, on Monday when the sessions start again, it's very important we only focus on the generative AI topics, right? If we're still troubleshooting Python, then everybody will get dragged behind. And from, like Karthik said, we have done multiple sessions, and people always appreciate when we focus on the novel topics of generative AI, and less so on things that are Googleable, searchable, you can ask AIable and all those things. However, today I will share my best resources and the easiest introduction to Python that I can give you. If you already know Python, let this be a refresher. And if you don't know Python, but I'm hoping if you know some other programming language, it's not that difficult to get onboarded. So with that said, are we ready? Let's start. Everyone ready? All right. This is my VS Code. I have zoomed in a lot, okay? And your VS Code, when you install, the color scheme and everything will look very different from mine. Okay, they're supposed to look different. This is my files and folder. It's possible yours is over here. Yours is like somewhere else, because this is customizable IDE. All right, there's a difference between Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. So make sure you follow the link that I've given in the document to avoid confusion. And this is, you might have your preferred IDE. For the duration of this course, you can, at least for the course material, etc., use Visual Studio Code. Why I'm not a big fan of bloated IDEs either. I've come from like NeoVim user, etc. You can imagine, like, to open this on my laptop, it takes me a lot. I hate cursors for the same reason. I prefer CLIs any day. But what this does is it allows us to give us assume a common platform. Otherwise, a lot of time what happens is if you have your preferred IDE, suddenly we are troubleshooting your IDE, which mentor may or may not have used, and it creates a lot of chaos, which is completely unnecessary. So this will give you a unified thing. If you're already familiar with Python, let's say you use PyCharm or something, I'm assuming by the time you come to PyCharm, you're decently familiar with Python, then you know what you're doing. You can continue to do that, hoping that you can troubleshoot by yourself. This is my whiteboard that I prefer to use, and this is what I will share at the end of the session. And we'll start our stuff with Python. How many of you written any Python, especially Python 3? What is your familiarity level with Python? Those who don't know Python, you can call it a stranger. Easy syntax, intro to mind, beginner, all right. It's a stranger, all right. All right, not an issue. So first things first, you need a runtime, etc. A runtime is where the code executes, right? So I will assume that the majority of you are strangers, because if you're attending the session, I think that's the safest assumption, right? So first things first, we need a runtime where you actually run the Python code, right? We don't literally compile Python to bytecode, etc. Though behind the scenes, there are some frameworks which do optimization, so they'll do PyC, etc. But you don't need to intervene yourself unless the cache is causing an issue. So majority, you can assume it's executed at the runtime, and which makes it, and it's it's in the software stack. It's not as powerful as Rust or C and all those things. It comes above that, but it's definitely more powerful than something like JavaScript or PHP, right? So if you're coming from either world, temper your expectations. The way you run Python code and the way you install runtime is slightly different for two systems. One is your NIC systems. This includes Mac OS, Linux, GNU, Linux, FreeBSD, etc. All of those systems. And there's a different setup for Windows, right? First, we'll talk about concepts. Then we will talk about, I'll come to versions of Python. Don't worry. We'll cover all of that. So they work slightly differently. And I'll try to minimize all of this overhead of information that you want to know, right? And I will often make these gray squares. This is my method of going about it, where if there's an additional topic you can learn, which we won't cover, but in case you're curious to dive deeper, you can always look into it, right? On NIC systems, there is something called as a system Python. The OS itself needs Python, and it has Python installed. However, we don't want to touch this Python, mess with this Python, or have anything to do with this Python, because it can challenge the stability of your system itself. Can we have chat block? You can minimize it. I will usually suggest minimizing the window. That should take it away from you. The reason we don't minimize, I already showed you. If I go on mute or some other thing happens, it takes a long time to troubleshoot, right? And like those of you who don't feel comfortable, you can minimize it and you don't have to interact. That's completely fine. So there's a system Python here, and then we install, something called as user Python. This is the Python where we, execute stuff. For all practical purposes, this is also what we'll call the global Python for the entire system. And within that, you will have your project specific Python. All right. So this is the nesting that happens. In case of Windows, there is no system Python. So you directly go to your user Python and your, project based Python. What that project, specific Python, etc. is, how does that function? We'll come to that in a bit. I don't know why I'm not able to copy this. The commands are also slightly different. I have documented all of those things for you. So we'll go step by step. And the versions, coming to version, anything above Python, 3.10 should be fine, or above. Usually there's not an issue. If there's a specific Python version required, we'll let you know. But 3.10 and above should be fine. What about, yes, Macs fall here. Mac is under the hood, like users next operating systems. GNU, Linux, etc. I don't want to get into it. I'm sure they're purists all across the world. They will be offended if I say it wrong. So, yeah, they use pieces of it. This behaves like the same system. All right. So this should be fine. Second thing, we use Git and GitHub. All right. How many of you are not familiar with GitHub? How many of you never heard like or used Git or GitHub? Okay. If you've not used it in a long time, if you never used it, I would suggest there is this GitHub app. You can install this GitHub app. I'll show you for a quick second. This is the app. I've given the link in the document. You can download it and use this to manage Git and GitHub. GitHub is platform where you can create free account, and you will be able to then push your code, etc. How do you do that, etc.? You can watch a quick tutorial. It's very easy to manage using a GUI. The reason I say that is right now I wouldn't suggest you spend time learning Git and GitHub because there's a lot to learn in it. And the GUI makes it easy enough that you will be able to get the job done, right, throughout the session. But Git and GitHub is something we will use as well. The last piece that I want to mention is VS Code, which is what I'm using here. And VS Code, again, set it up like you prefer, etc. And now coming to Python installation that I quickly want to cover, I will go back to the document. What I have done is for Windows people, I have given this exact tutorial. You can go here to this link. All right. It has given it shows each and every step visually. Follow it exactly, including these checkboxes that they're asking you to check. Once you follow these steps, I think about till this, I don't think you will have to do this. By the time you're done with this step, you should be ready to go. If Python is not functional, etc., even after restarting your system, then you may need to add Python to your path, which it will tell you an error. But for Windows people, this is the tutorial. It's already linked. For Mac people, I will highly recommend using Homebrew. If you have not used Homebrew, etc., it's only for Mac, by the way. It saves a ton of time. Homebrew is not safe enough to ship in production, but I don't know of very many people who are shipping on Mac OS on production. It just makes things easier. You can just do brew install Python and it's done. The installation instructions are given here for Mac people. For rest of the Linux folks, it is given right here. And now, you can follow those. And if you installed Python already, all right, great. If you're not installed it, you can do that later because it takes a little while. And all the links are given right here, right? And what I want to start with is by sharing with you how these commands, etc., differ. But no need for reinstall if we have been using, if you've been using Python, already, just check your version. It should be 3.10 or above, 3.10 or above. Again, like I said, I've given all the links, Visual Studio, Python tutorial for Visual Studio Code, additional guides. I've linked to a lot of resources right here. Now we'll come to, an important piece. There are two pieces that I want to discuss apart from runtime. Actually, let me show you the runtime first. All right, and get you a little taste of Python. You folks want to see some Python written in code and executed? Would you like to see that? Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file. New file remains how you create a new file. You can click this icon. Let me zoom in a little so you can see. You can click this icon. You can do file new. You can do command N, control N, whatever you do. That same way you create a new file. I've created one. And I can write Python code here. What we will do is we will just simply do our first, which I think should change to Hello AI now. Everybody has one going. And this is how you do a hello world. And while saving, okay, I should not have probably done that. I'm just going to close that and create here a new file. Otherwise, VS Code will misbehave. Example.py. I can name it whatever.py. And this is my Python code. Print statement, literally. And we can just run this. To run this, I will bring up a terminal. all right, which is right here. You can use your own bash, etc. I can switch that on. That is, I use that icon right here, or you can go to terminal and new terminal and it will open that as well. This is the folder we are in, Python basics. I should be able to write Python. First, I will check Python version. Python not found, okay. Python 3 version. Python 3 is found. Now, the interesting bit is on Unix systems, it's always called Python 3. It's always called Python 3, all right. On Windows environment, however, you may have Py, you may have Python or Python 3. Why does that, etc.? Versions of Windows, etc. are crazy, but it is one of these three possibilities. After you install Python, this is the way to check if your Python is installed or not. On Nix, because it's system Python, you want to make sure you're using your system Python, user Python, so you can do which Python 3. This is a Nix only command, and this is my, this is not my system Python. This should be fine. System Python is, I think, very different path. And the brew thing I was telling you about is this command, but again, I will not get into brew. So Python 3 should get us a version. I'm on 3.11.9. That should be fine. What is the difference between system Python and user Python? System Python is used by the OS. System Python is right here, and it is meant for the OS. The operating system uses it, and it needs it to function and be stable, etc. Because there's stuff they have written in Python. And user Python, you can do whatever you want. You can change the version, you can write your own code, you can install packages, etc. How do I ensure I use user Python? Mostly like any Nix system, if you're messing with the system Python, it will give you a lot of trouble, but the Linux setups are so diverse. Best way is to, find your system specific tutorial, and it will let you know, how to check for it. For example, if I was to run, some installation, etc., it will give me a lot of warning. Your install path is what you want to check, but install path can differ based on a lot of variables. So I can't show you one standard install path that may be common for everyone. So only for Windows folks, you may have different have it called differently. I'll just write those right there. It is called Python 3. Here it may be Python 3 or Python or Py. All right, and you can do hyphen version, and that should still result in the same. Now to execute this code written in Python, I just do Python 3 and the name of the file, and I just run that. And there you go. I have my print statement right here. Hello AI, and that is what we have written right here. All right. System Python is often version. Yeah, it might be version like Python 3 as well. There's nothing I can say about that. Depends on your system. Now, coming to couple of important things. Variables in Python are super easy. A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 100 or 200. That is how you declare a variable. You want to print just A, you can print that. You want to print A plus B, you can print that as well. All right, and we will run this code again. I've saved that before running. Oh, my bad. There you go. Hello, AI 1 and 200 plus 1 is 201. Do not update your system Python, leave it alone. Only install your user Python. And if you use Homebrew on Mac system, this should be fine. Linux people will know, if you're on Linux, I'm hoping you know enough to navigate your own, distribution that you're managing. Because if you come from FreeBSD, etc., it completely depends on your setup. If you're in some FreeBSD jail, I genuinely don't know how I can help you with Python. I'm hoping you will know how to set that up. Do you recommend an AI agent to install an extension in VS Code, or we just have Copilot as of now? That's up to you. I just feel like systems installation, etc., I personally take care of because I want to know exactly what is going on in the system. I don't give that permission to my AI, agents, etc. But if you're fine with that, yeah, up to you. It should be fine. Though, make sure they have internet access, etc. Can we use online browser for Python coding? Now there are a lot of places you can use for Python coding, but you will not be able to do a lot of heavy lifting that you're doing. Again, if you're going outside the system that we are assuming, I don't know which platform you will use, what they will allow, etc. So I would encourage if you can run the Python on your system itself. It doesn't take a lot unless you're doing AI inference. All right. Now, coming to, those of you come from type, languages which have first class types, you will be disappointed. If you don't know what types are, what type checking is, you can ignore the next couple of sentences. If you know, then it is important that Python does not have type, first class type, but they have something called type hints. For example, you can do like denote that A is supposed to be an integer. However, it's not going to it's not guaranteed that it'll cry out or like let you know when something goes wrong every single time. There are some very easy ways to bypass this thing, but hints help, at least for the fellow developers. In case you can't live without types, and I completely understand that. So type hints is the best thing you get. Now coming back, like for all of us, this is how you define a function. Function foo, outputs, and this is completely optional. You can just do this. And white spaces are important in Python. So this is a fine, function, and this is within the function. If I just change the spacing, this will not work. All right, the spacing has to be consistent, otherwise Python will throw an error. To execute the function, I can simply call it, and that is, now I should have hello world, hello AI, and all of that in that sequence. There you go. Hello world, hello AI, one. Just do def. You want to do class, you can do classes. I've not seen that many people use class, but if you really want to do, if you come from object oriented programming world, this may look familiar. That is how you do a class. If you were, first you will instantiate a class, and then you can execute its function. Init functions are assumed. This is where you do a lot of your setup, etc. There are very few reasons to, a lot of people just write functions. I usually write a ton of functions, and I hate when AI is just adding classes for no reason, because it just makes stuff unnecessary. But just in case you need to, this is also available, right? The only sad part, Python allows is very flexible. It does not have a lot of opinion, and it's very clean code. It reads like English. Ruby people may disagree, but it does. It's very close. It's close to Yoda English, because you do something like, if I was to do string join, I would do string.join, not join string, which is very funny to me. It's like sounds like Yoda. Those of you familiar with the syntax will not probably feel any issues. This is what this results in. Okay, it does not get executed. So I'll have to do a print statement. This is an example of a string concatenated using join. So this is how it was joined, right? So this syntax may be a little off for some people. This is what I mean by Yoda speak. Among these two, backend or frontend, for which Python code can be used, largely it is used for backend and a lot for AI workloads. Large part of AI and the ecosystem surrounding it is written in Python, PyTorch, JAX, etc. And however, there are tools which can help you create quick and fast front ends. And I will, I think during the course, we showcase them as well, but you don't have to use Python for front end. Is there a way to simulate terminal in Windows? I will come to that. I'll come to that, folks, step by step. 1 second, folks, I'll be back. Sorry about that, just back. All right, among these two, backend and front end, covered that. All right, now, so that is, honestly, that is about it. There are advanced packages, etc., that you will get exposed to. There are some very powerful tools in Python. Why we chose Python, etc., as well. It's not because we personally want to promote Python, but Python with it brings a ton of stuff. I will just close this for a time being to talk about that. One thing Python brings is entire AI ecosystem. You will need those, that to execute, Python. And a lot of this inference is at scale. There are people compiling this to, CN, or this Python, Jython, and all that jazz. They do a lot of optimization, but researchers, generative AI people, etc., are largely, using their toolkits around Python. The second thing, it comes with a lot of data tools. That is the primitive, which made these data engineers and researchers, etc., flock to Python in the first place, and that is what led to the Gen AI revolution, like using a lot of Python. And also, it gives us stuff like, and when I say data tools, I will give you one example, which I think we will use in this course, which is pandas. Now, pandas is multi-dimensional, Google Sheet. It's fancy Excel, and it can do multi-dimensional data analysis, etc. You can do joins. So it has power of SQL as well. It has crazy abilities to do certain stuff. I've given these examples right here as well. For example, in Python, you have popular packages. One of their name is pandas. All right. So pandas, for example, there's you can install pandas, etc. They have getting started tutorial. They have books, videos, ton of that stuff. There's enough free tutorials, by the way, on Python, whatever you want to learn. And they have crazy stuff. For example, can I plot my data points? All right. Can I calculate summary statistics very quickly? All right. Can I aggregate or map or reduce my data sets, etc.? Can I manipulate and change data? Can I quickly read and write data from any to any format? All of that pandas allows. They have crazy, very well documented, user guides, etc. Here's a quick table visualization. That is visualization of a table. That's just 2 rows. People handle millions of rows in pandas, right? So pandas is powerful too. Like once you take to pandas, again, I don't try to remember syntax. Now AI writes it for me, but even back in the day, I could not remember syntax, but I would still flock toward pandas because it just has so many powerful things, and it's more efficient than trying to do this in, God forbid, JavaScript or something like that. All right. Does bracket work for class and method definitions? No, you do not use brackets. We use white spaces to define them. Can we do XML parsing? Yeah, you can do XML parsing. XML is no big deal for pandas. You can do JSON if you want. It is crazy. Like it's mind blowing. What tools, what pandas allows you to do. Pandas uses NumPy. NumPy is for advanced mathematics. Advanced mathematics, I don't mean by adding 2 numbers. We're talking about I want to add millions of numbers with the precision of 16 decimal places and accuracy of certain other decimal places, and I want to do matrix multiplication, those kind of things. Like that kind of advanced mathematics is what we're talking about. NumPy. Is that a library in Python? Yes, it's a package. What disadvantages do you see for JavaScript as compared to Python? I mean, JavaScript is its own world. It makes sense for I wouldn't write front end code in Python if I can avoid it. Are we expected to know this Python libraries at basic level? Not really. We will send you a pre-reads in case we want you to be to have the library, etc. But these 3 are most likely to get going to get used. But if you really want to try it out, Jupyter and Pandas is 2 you can try out. But it's not necessary for you to know. Just practice basic Python and you should be good. It should be good enough. So now coming to how do you install these Python, etc., and where do you install these? So this is what brings us to, we saw examples, code example, etc. Now we come to package manager. How many of you are familiar with what a package manager is? Actually, write no in the chat if you're not familiar. Even Java would be, somebody wrote, even Java would be good option for AI. I don't know if they have any tooling around AI. But Pandas disadvantages that expands the data frame size after loading it very much. Yeah, when you're reaching those scales, I'm sure you will find better solutions. All right. So I will use an analogy. You have a phone, right? And that phone has apps. Why do we install apps, folks? What do we get out of apps? Why do we already have a phone? It can make calls. It can show you reminders, I'm pretty sure. So why do we install these apps? What do these apps do for us? perform different tasks, yes. Different specific tasks, yes. What else? Functionalities, correct. The core thing is that it brings us additional functionality. Similarly, in most programming languages, you want pre-built functionality. All right. For example, for me, in my Python setup, etc., I want additional functionality to do advanced mathematics or data processing. So pandas is like my app. All right. Or what we will call it in this language, pandas is my package that I'm installing. It's like an app. And where do you install these apps from? Where do they come from on your phone? What is the source of these apps? App Store and Play Store, correct. So you might have App Store or you might have Play Store, right? This is where all these official apps are stored. On Android, of course, you can install far many apps than Apple would ever allow you to do. Google still makes it difficult, but it's possible. On App Store, iOS, you don't. Very similarly, we use a package manager right here. This is a package manager, which allows you to install and uninstall apps. So you can install them using package manager. All right. And you can uninstall them as well. There are several popular ways to do this. We will take the old tested method so it works on everybody's system, which is we will use pip as a package manager. All right. PIP. I will show you the commands and everything. Don't worry about it. We'll use pip as a package manager, and it can do a whole bunch of stuff for you. Later on, if you want to ship Python to production, you want to have a little more fast and advanced things. The new kid in the town is called UV package manager. However, please do not look into this right now because we will not be covering this in the course, etc. This is a thing for you for later on because you will struggle with pip if you want to ship it to production, especially if you work on several different projects. There I would suggest you can try UV, learn about UV. I would highly recommend keep this for after this course when you really need this. All right. If you already use UV, you know what you're doing. So I will not, mention anything else. But for those of you not familiar, this is a golden nugget for later on, a reward at the end of the course, if you will. Really recommend you do not even look it up before that. It will lead you down a rabbit hole. Next thing we know, you're having an existential crisis, and we don't have time for that, at least not till the course finishes. We have Gen AI topics to cover, right? So it's a great thing to look into later on, not right now. Okay, do not be tempted to look into this, but I'm leaving the note here so you can come back and when you need pip, to get rid of pip, you will know. Okay, I don't really tell you. You will know when it's causing troubles, and you will naturally look towards alternative, and internet will not fail you. AI will tell you to use UV. So there are multiple ways you will land there. It's not something you will forget. Pandas was a database connection for local memory efficiency. If you're using any SQL kind of setup, etc., Pandas will not beat that. It's not a replacement of SQL. UV advantages from memory perspective and directories. There are a lot of advantages, disadvantages. I will not get into that. That is not the topic of the day. Right now, we'll use pip because it will already come with your Python installations. There's nothing extra to install, and it will work on, if Python is working, this will work. So that is why we will use this. All right. Now coming to packages you can install, etc. But before I even showcase that to you, before I get into that, there's another piece I want to discuss, which is special to Python. By the way, a lot of programming languages have their package managers. All right. For example, in Python, we have we have pip, we have UV. In Node or JavaScript, we have npm. No one uses that anymore. There's pnpm. No one uses that anymore either. So there's bun. Okay. And by the way, both UV and bun are written in Rust. Rust is eating the world. It doesn't surprise me because they're really effective. But yeah, just those of you come from other languages, I'm pretty sure your language will have a package manager. All right. So you might call it differently. There might be different paradigm, but there's stuff we use to install things, run things. There's poetry as well. Yes. Um, Now coming to what we want to talk about is virtual environments. Now, honestly speaking, for the duration of this course, you could get away without virtual environments. But so we thought about like, should we drop it? It just complicates the thing. Like people don't really need it during the course, but we want your course, whatever you build in the course, to work. You know, I don't know, 1 year later, 2 year later, and we don't want your different projects to conflict with each other. So it becomes an important part to mention virtual environments, right? I'm guessing those of you who are not familiar with the package manager are not familiar with virtual environments as well. But before I jump into it, any questions so far? I'm taking some from the chat. I'm planning to develop a tool using Python in sandbox environment to support data migration work. Can I move the tool developer on top of Python to use in production environment without any Python library impacts? I have no clue what that means. That will take me a while to decipher. Can I move the tool developer on top of Python to use in production? I mean, as long as it's your server, you can do whatever you want. It sounds like something doable. Can we use Google Collaboratory? I have Google Collaboratory. We will be using Google Collab. You can't use it for everything, but a lot for AI heavy workloads. Yes, you can. In fact, we will use Google Collab. Those of you not familiar, Google Collab or Google Collaboratory, as is officially called, is where you can put something called as Jupyter notebooks. All right. And run the code, the Python code, on Google's servers, which also gives you access to GPUs. They have a free tier, which is quite generous. On their paid tier, you can also get access to stuff like H100, A100. I have seen T4, I have seen L4, a whole bunch of GPUs are available on Google Colab. They're rather cheap, but they're very slow. The in-memory out of disk and disk is quite slow. I made a proposal studio where I input RFP and it has to access some folder where it auto picks relevant existing proposals and then it creates a structure of proposal. But I'm not able to use models, create error. Don't get me wrong. I'm still on 3 out of 10. If you're so the Python basics is not about model Gen AI. I will be the one teaching you the first session, which is chat completion. So how do you call a model? How do you use AI models, etc. in code? We'll cover on Monday. Okay, all right. So you're already ahead of the course, Rajat. It's all right. You will come around. We'll talk about that. We'll discuss that. There are some tools which will allow to convert Python code to exe, but it's better, I believe, you can do data migration from without Python. Okay, you folks are having some other discussion. I will let you continue. Now coming to virtual environments. All right. Now virtual environments, the first thing I need to explain the need of it. All right. And why do we need it? Because once why do we need it becomes obvious, then using it becomes obvious. And if the why does not click, then everything just seems like, why the hell are we doing this? All right. It seems like jumping through hoops for circus, for show purposes, and for no reason. So let me try my best to use two analogies. I will use two analogies. If you have, to hope that I can, make it obvious to you that why do we do certain things. If you've seen two kids, and especially if they're siblings, imagine you get them, only one of them, a bag, all right, or whatever, like a book. Can you imagine, like, if you have two cousins or two kids, or you live around two young kids, can you imagine just getting only one of them something and not the other person? What would happen? Those of you have had kids, you can probably tell us what happens when you only get something for one person. Yeah, they're gonna be like, it's gonna be like a war. And fights is like a mild thing. Okay. So it's gonna be a nightmare, clearly. Like, I agree, it's a world war. So you never do that. All right. And then even then there is no peace, because should I get them the same color or not? Like, it's a whole thing. All right. Because every kid wants the color that they don't have. So similarly, imagine that I have, two different projects. Instead of kids, I have project A and I have project B. All right. Now they are not as jealous, but they are a little grown up, but they still have that sibling rivalry going on. Imagine this one installs pandas. Let's assume version 1.9. All right. It's version 1.9. But you create a new project where you require 2.3. Now what will happen? They both require pandas to work, and they both are saying, I want this. So when you run this project, you will install 2.3. But when you go back, this project will fail. So now you have to uninstall 2.3 and install pandas 1.9. Do you see the problem? That your different projects can need different packages of different versions, which is them causing very same kind of war that would happen with children, right? Does the problem make sense to you? In other words, I have two more analogies. Okay. One is, let's say you have a gym bag that you take to your gym, and you have an office bag. They need different things in them. You need to separate them out. All right. It's better to isolate them, because you don't want to mix them up. You don't want to end up in gym with your office bag or in office with your gym bag. All right. So these are isolations, right? Folders, you can imagine. So what we do is we create virtual environments. The entire environment, we virtualize it. We create a silo, so to speak, for each project. That way, what I do is I do not install pandas in my, and this is where important thing comes, this picture, that you have a, user Python, the global Python, right? And what you want to do is you can install stuff here, but then you make sure that every project can use that version. Or instead, you can just change this, right? So this environment is, into a silo inside your global Python. And for each project, then what you can do is you can have different packages, and this one can have its own packages. So they stop fighting, and we can have peace. Same way, you create two different bags. You can think of these virtual environments with two different bags. You can think of them as two different toolkits. For example, your hardware tools and your, let's say, stationary tools, or let's say baking tools, they don't belong in the same place, right? I wouldn't want to keep my mittens in the same place as the drill bits. That doesn't make any sense. Same way, both of my projects get different packages, and the way to do that is virtual environments. All right, does that make sense? Usually one project is equal to one virtual environment. You can have more, but this is roughly what we do in practice. Each project we create a separate virtual environment. Now we can have separate packages. Does that make sense? To anybody who is still not sure? All right, awesome. So what is the analogy here with the App Store? The App Store actually is just like, it's like having two different phones. It can install whatever you want on either of the phones. How do we create virtual environment? I'll come to that eventually. Did not understand, so let me quickly do a recap. What can happen? You will have different projects when you actually use Python, right? Project 1, project 2, and they will need packages. We will use packages, things like pandas. OpenAI is another package. OpenAI is how you call OpenAI and other AI models to get the results. Now, very, very soon what happens is, let's say this project A was made in January, when the pandas latest version was 1.9. So you install 1.9. So your project A works with 1.9. But somebody made project B yesterday, and the latest version of pandas was 2.3. So they use 2.3. Now, often there's non-compatibility or differences between the version of the packages, because pandas 1.9 upgraded to 2.3, changing some things. And usually what will happen is this project will not work with pandas 2.3. It does not want that. and this project will not work with this. So now there's a conflict. If you only had one place to install, like you do on your phone, you can either keep v1 or v2. You can't keep both of them. So what do? The solution in Python we use is creating a virtual environment, all right, which creates a silo, all right. How do we create it, etc.? I'll come to that in a bit. But first, let's understand what's going on. So now this one can install Pandas 1.9 and this one can install Pandas 2.3. They have their own separate bag. Okay, the siblings should stop fighting, should stop having conflicts. They can manage their own stuff. Is it equivalent to Docker? Yes, sure. Docker is very similar thing happening at an OS level. Yes. Can we upgrade the packages? Yes, you can. All right, please recap. You can use your AI companion to get a recap. Creating two profiles on desktop, that sometimes works, sometimes does not work. Depends on the isolation. A silo is an isolation. It's an isolation. They're isolated. They don't conflict with each other. Another way to what is the easiest way I can mention a silo? Different rooms are two different silos. They're two different folders. They're two different areas. They're separated by each other. Two countries are a silo, right? Their laws don't apply there. Their laws don't apply there. Can we not use Dockers? Sure, you can use Docker, but Docker can be an overkill for this sort of situation. But yes, you can use Docker. That is also an option. If you're familiar with Docker, you can use Docker, but it adds an overhead. So what we actually do is we use package manager, but we use in virtual environments. So in a typical Python projects, a couple of things will happen, and I want to list them out for you. And these are the steps you do in typical project. All right, there are some things you do frequently, or sometimes you do very few times, and there are some things you almost do daily. I want to separate them out. For example, you will create a virtual environment usually once. All right, you will install, uninstall packages, almost daily. First thing actually you do is activate virtual environment daily. What does activation mean, etc.? I'll tell you in a second. Don't worry. I'm just listing things out. These things we do daily. And something like, create recipe. I'll come to that, what this means. Like few times. Usually once you create a virtual environment, you can continue to use it. All right. So let me first show you without any delay, how do you create a virtual environment? And there's a reason you would want to use virtual environment, which I'll come to, because these commands that we were talking about, right? Python 3, Python 3, Python, PyPy, all of them change and standardize, all right, in a very nice and effective way when you use virtual environment. So there are reasons to use it. All right, to create a virtual environment, the command is simple. All these commands, by the way, folks, I have already listed down, so you can easily copy paste them or refer them. This table covers virtually everything that we will learn next. I'll go through it step by step, but just to let you know that these are already covered here. You can see that there is two commands are different between Mac and Windows, which is creation and activation. Once you activate a virtual environment, then all commands become same for Windows people and for Mac people, for Linux people. All right. So it unifies the entire system. First thing you typically do is create a virtual environment. All right. We'll create one using this, this sort of setup, and then we'll activate it. First, let me create one so I can show you, and I can show you what is happening in my file system as well. This is my terminal. The command on Mac is Python 3. Okay, just to not make a mistake, -m venv. Now, this is telling it use Python 3, a module called virtual environment. All right, short for venv. What I'm about to write next is the name of the folder in which all of this setup will be done. All right, and I'm doing this inside my Python_basics, which is my project folder. This is already my project folder. All right, and example.py is only example.py is there. I will write .venv. All right, this is a convention. You can name it whatever you want. You can do .env, You can do VENV, you can do full virtual environment, whatever you want to name it. The convention is VENV, and I will hit enter and it will create a folder right here. If you want to see the folder, I have some different system setting. You can just remove the dot and the folder will be visible to you. It doesn't make a difference to like how it functions. We do dot so it doesn't irritate us on file system. When I hit enter, watch what happens. It's done. What got created is this new folder. It was not here before. All right. What is inside it? It's unnecessary. Like you can learn about it. There's an ample coverage online, but you don't need to go inside this folder manually to do anything. If you find yourself browsing inside this folder, looking for something inside this folder, something has gone wrong. For the duration of this course, there will be no need for you to manually look inside this folder. All right. We manage it, interact with it using pip. All right. Like I mentioned. But to do that, right now, whatever I install will still get installed to the user level Python, global Python. So I need to make sure that I'm using the VENV. The way to do that is, and there's a last command which is different. All right. This is activating virtual environment. We use source. This command is this on Windows. Whatever you name the VENV folder, /scripts, /activate.bat. For the rest of it, it's source.venv bin activate. All right. This is the name of the folder. Inside there is a bin folder. Inside there is activate. I will hit enter. And the moment I hit enter, something changes. You can see this terminal now says .venv. All right. This means that, virtual environment is activated. This is the way you know it's activated or not. Now, if I do which Python, not Python 3, which Python, it should work. And the Python is coming from Python basics, my project folder, .venv folder, bin Python. That's how I know that this is my virtual environment Python. And now from this point onward, the command is not Python 3, not Py. For Windows and Mac, both people, the command is Python. And I can now do example.py and it will work. All right. Pip is package manager. I'll come to that. I'm not showing you pip for a purpose. Now, while you familiarize yourself with this, I want to quickly talk to only Windows people. Windows people, 5 minutes. Folks, the rest of you can practice this. However, I will call back in literally 2 minutes. I just want to address Windows people specifically because at this point, they will start facing an issue. And I want to quickly tell you about certain important thing. And what I've done here is given screenshots. So Windows people, please pay attention. You have multiple kind of shells, multiple kind of terminals. Most likely your VS Code will bring up PowerShell. You do not want to use PowerShell. We want to use command prompt. Okay. How can you know if you're using VS Code? First problem, you will see it right here in your terminal in your VS Code that this is PowerShell. This is wrong. All right. Another way to tell it's PowerShell or not, you will see PS written here. Then you're in the wrong place. If you see, command prompt, you can see here it says CMD. And here you do not see PS. Then you are using the right one. How do you change that? It's simple. You will go here and click this arrow. And it will show you command prompt in the drop-down list. You click on that and you will be in command prompt. Why do we use command prompt and not PowerShell is a longer discussion. The commands don't work the same. They're easier on command prompt. So switch to command prompt. It will already make things better. If you want to see in UI, the UI will look different. That's why I was not going here. But this is the button when you click. I see bash, ZSH, tmux, etc., etc. You will see command prompt here, like this CMD, and you select that, and you will be using the right terminal. All right. Everyone on Windows clear? Git bash I have not used. I will highly recommend use command prompt. Git bash, I am not sure if it has all the permissions, etc. So just be careful. Few question, will the VENV use the user Python? Yes, it will use the user space Python. Can two virtual environment talk to each other? They can, but usually that is not the setup that you want to do. There are very few reasons for them to get to talk to each other. All right, now Windows people specific stuff is over. Everyone, please pay attention back again. This is for everyone, not just Windows people. This is for everyone. We're coming back. All right. Coming back. Everyone back. Please write back so I know you folks are paying attention again. Please write back in the chat. Awesome. So I spoke so much about package managers. Let's install one package. Let's install one package, yeah, with pip. So what I do is first make sure my virtual environment is activated. And then I can do pip install and whatever is the name of the package manager. In this case, I'll go with OpenAI. OpenAI is the one used to get ChatGPT API. I can do additional one as well. I can do NumPy and I can keep listing on packages that I want. To install them, I'll hit enter and watch what happens. All right. So it found those packages. It installed them in my virtual environment. It is also giving me a warning, a notice. A new release of pip is available. Whenever that is available, I will usually follow what they are asking me to do. They're literally giving us the command to update. I can copy this command and I can paste this command. Keep your software updated is usually a good thing to do. And there you go. Now there is no notice. So we installed packages and we specifically installed OpenAI and we installed NumPy. All right. So now what I can do in my Python file, this is my code file, I can import and use these packages. The way you import them is simple: import OpenAI. All right. So now I should be able to use it. I will not use it, but I can show you, like, I can do Python and I can then run, example.py and it should run. Okay. What happens if it's not installed? Let me use pandas. Pandas might be installed on my system. Let me use ice cream. Okay. And it is not installed. It's all my VS Code is already underlining it. Now let me try to run it again. You will see this error, and learning a language is learning the errors. All right. So I want you to familiarize yourself with this error. Module not found error. Module name ice cream is, what does this mean to you? I updated the pip for the virtual environment. How many virtual environment can we run in a parallel? How do we differentiate between them? You will differentiate them by name. You usually keep one for each project. You can run as many as your system will allow. On a modern system, you can run hundreds of them. It's not installed. Yes. Let's first look at the error. It says module was not found. It's funny that they're calling packages modules now, but that's Python for you. All right. So there's a module that is named ice cream, which it was not able to find. Where is that error coming from? It's telling you, this is the file, example.py, line number 1. And this is the line. This is the line causing this issue. Whenever you see module not found error, there are two reasons. There are only two reasons possible. Reason number 1, it is not installed. In our case, I did not install it. Okay. So if I install it, it should work. Let's try that hypothesis. How do we install packages, folks? How do we install ice cream? Anyone remembers? Yes. Pip install ice cream. Okay, it's installed. Now, I don't know why this is still not gone, but now let me run that thing again, Python example.py, and it ran. Now that error is gone. This thing is also gone, underline here. So that is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is you have not activated the virtual environment. It happens to the best of us. I've been using Python for over a decade. I still forget. I will come in with a terminal. Okay, new terminal. I'll start my project again. Here you can see it's not activated. And I will do, okay, it activated it for me. Let me deactivate for 1 second. Okay, now it's not activated. And I will try to run Python and I will do example.py. This will already fail. My symbol, sign number 1 is, this was a Python not found. Okay, then I'll be like, very strange. Let's do Python 3 and still module not found error. Why? Because the package was installed in the virtual environment. That's the reason we created virtual environment. So two reasons are there. Either you did not install it, or if you installed it, you're not in the virtual environment. And how do you activate the virtual environment? Once again, the command I already mentioned. And now when I run the same code, it will work. Usually VS Code, once you set up the virtual environment, when you click a new terminal, usually it will activate it it will try to detect and activate it for you by default. Like, there you go. I did not write anything, it automatically activated it. All right. Usually VS Code does it for you, but it doesn't do it. You can do it yourself. All right. And this happens more often than not. So if this happens with you, don't feel embarrassed. All of us have done that. All right. So there are two reasons why you're seeing module not found. Either you're not in your virtual environment, it's not activated, or it's not like installed. If you close, yes. So now coming to activation, somebody's asking, if I close and reopen my VS Code, do I have to activate every time? Technically speaking, yes. I'll tell you why. You have to activate, technically speaking, virtual environment every single time you open a new terminal window, because activation is really bad word. I think they just went with a fancy word, because what you're actually doing is you have a terminal window. Okay, this is my terminal window. I'm using $sign to, like, where you're writing Python or whatever. All right. Come on. When we say activate, what this means is this terminal window will use your VENV as its environment. It will use the virtual environment. But this activation, this is what activation means. Okay, but only this window. The important part being it is tied to the window. The moment you close the terminal, the activation is gone. So if you open a new terminal, you have to activate again. If you open a new terminal, you have to activate again. I know that can be annoying. That is where VS Code becomes useful. In most cases, it will automatically activate it for you. Otherwise, it becomes a second nature, right? So if you close this window, the activation is gone. You're not activating anything in the code. What you're doing is you're telling this window, terminal window, to this terminal session to use that virtual environment as its environment and do things within it. All right. Source not found in the error. We will do error troubleshooting at the end. But how do we know which packages are in there in our environment? Very good question. I'll come to that in a second. That is the next logical step. Now, by the way, to uninstall packages, it is very simple. Once again, you can do pip uninstall OpenAI. I'll say yes, and there you go, uninstalled. All right. So you can install, uninstall. That is where it is like an app store. All right. That's what I meant by that analogy. Now, imagine I'm sharing this project with you. Imagine I'm sharing this project with you. How should I tell you which packages am I using? And how will I send you those packages? Any ideas? Package.json, that's the JavaScript way of doing package.json. All right. So when we are sharing projects, okay, this is person A, this is you. All right. And this is your friend. I use that word loosely. You worked on a project, okay, and projects are squares, obviously. All right. So you worked on a project called Project A, and you want to share that with your friend. And your friend created a project called Project B, and they want to share it with you. All right. Now, yeah, we could share the virtual environment folder, but how do we know they're running Mac OS, etc., etc.? Long story short, we actually do not store, we don't put this in our Git, and we do not share .vnb folder. We don't share that. We keep it on our system. Okay. This is the convention not to share it. Typically, you will add something called a git ignore file. It tells Git what to not to version, and here we will add .venv, and it will be excluded from that entire setup. We will not use it actually. So how do I now let my friend know, or how will my friend let me know that how to run this project? What we share instead, we share the code, and along with it, we share a small recipe or ingredients list. All right. And that ingredients list is actually, in our case, is package list. We share a list of packages and their specific versions with our friend. And now they should be able to use this to install and uninstall the packages. And this is how, we keep a track of what's going on. If you wanted to list the packages installed, remember, installed is separate from being used. You can install something and not use it. That is separate. All right. The command for that is pip freeze. If I just run pip freeze, these are all the packages that are installed in my virtual environment. I just ran pip freeze. And this is everything that is installed. Here, our NumPy is there. Other stuff is there that I've installed, but I did not install all of these packages. Can you see? Do you remember me installing Sniffo, Ice Cream? You folks remember? Do you remember me installing H11? Do you folks remember me installing any of this? Do you folks remember it? No. In fact, I did not install it. So where did they come from? They are dependent packages, correct? So when you install a single package, it is often possible that that package like pandas, right, actually depends on 5 packages. Let's count 2 here. It's also possible that, let's say, it depends on HTTP, X, and this package in turn will depend on 10 other packages, and this whole thing is called a dependency tree. Okay, 1 second, folks. All right, back. This is a dependency tree. You don't have to manage it, but then just letting you know that is where they come from. All right. And now what we do is we put this in a particular file. The convention in Python is requirements.txt. This ingredient list is given a name. You can name it actually whatever you want, but the convention again is that we name it requirements.txt. It is typically found in the same folder where you are supposed to create the virtual environment, usually the root of the folder. There is no requirement.txt. I will create one right now. I will use pip freeze command, and I will tell it put that entire thing into something called requirements.txt. Pip freeze is the same command that gave me a list. I'm saying put this list and the versions in this file called requirement.txt. I'm running that command in my project root, so it will get created right here. Please notice there is no requirement.txt right now. And watch what happened when I hit enter. A requirement.txt got created. Let's open it. It has the same things like we were seeing in the command output here. So we just took the output of that command and put it in this file, right? And that is how we created our requirements.txt. I will save this and I will share this with my friend, and my friend will share this with me. And now I can, using this recipe, this ingredient list, I can recreate my virtual environment. You can recreate this entire thing from this file. So just to show that, I will delete the virtual environment. And yes, you can delete it. It's possible. There you go. I deleted it. I only deleted it after creating requirement.txt. All right. Otherwise, we'll have to hunt it down again. Now what I do is, what do I have to do, folks? Any guesses? What do I have to do? Should we deactivate and delete, or you can directly delete? Pip install? No. We have to create. Balaji is correct. We have to create the virtual. There is no virtual environments. First, we'll create one. All right. Python 3 MVENV. I remember this because I've created so many virtual environments. There you go. It got created, and now I'm inside that virtual environment. Maybe not. I will clear up and use a new terminal because that was earlier VENV. And here I will activate my VENV. Okay, it activated it by itself. Thanks. And now I have to install stuff in it, because if I try to do this right now, Python example.py, ice cream not found, but my environment is activated. So what's the issue? My environment is activated, so that's not the culprit. Why am I getting module not found error? Because I've not installed my packages. And the way to install this is, again, pip install, same command, slightly different, which is R, and we give it the entire list to install, which is requirement.txt. I add this -R and give it the requirements.txt, which is again list of packages, and I hit enter. Okay, I spelled it wrong. There you go, everything installed, and I have to do this again because there's a new virtual environment. Now I'm done. And now if I run the same thing, Python example.py, it runs. All right. So we have recreated our virtual environment from scratch using just the list that we have. Please remember the list of packages you installed, the list of packages you use is different. Okay. Eventually, you will care about that. You can install a linter for that, etc. Those of you are interested in a linter because you have loved it because you come from JavaScript world. A linter you can use. Again, I keep it for later on and not for this duration of this course. In case you're looking for a linter, if you don't know what a linter is, you can ignore this. If you know what a linter is, you can use rough for Python. All right. .git ignore is for telling it what not to include in Git versions. All right. It's usually to tell it, don't include this file. I don't want to save this file because this file is supposed to be for my system. But requirement.txt also contains dependent packages. What if I only want the install? Then you will have to edit your requirement.txt. You can edit it, but usually doesn't pose an issue. And also to build this list, it does a lot of interdependency resolution. So yeah, it can those options exist, by the way, in case you really want to do it. Can two packages pull in the same dependent package with different version? If yes, does it cause during compilation? There's no compilation. A, can two packages pull in the same dependent package? Yes, they can, with different versions. They can, but again, pip does a lot of stuff to manage that, and that is, I don't want to get too deep into it. That is why you use pip to begin with and not manage this manually. Eventually, you will run into issues. Not right now. When things become more complex, that is when stuff like UV will make sense. There's UV, there's Conda, there's poetry, there's a lot of stuff for that. But during the course, I don't think you will face that issue. But yes, it's possible that you have two software which need a conflicting version of a same package, and it has issues. It's possible. All right. But I should reduce requirement.txt to main packages. You can, but traditionally it is not done. I would say for the next 14-15 days, just let it be this way. If you want to clean it up, there are ways to clean it up. There are alternatives of pip you can use, and all the issues that you are seeing, when you start to face issues with that, that is when you can look into UV. All right. If I add package with different version and it will be conflict, so is there a way to automate for correcting the version? Again, when you use pip, it will automatically correct it. It will automatically try to do a lot of things in the backend for you. During the next 14-15 days, there is very little reason for you to use a specific version. When you do come to specific versions and you are facing those kind of issues that you folks are talking about, you can switch to UV or look for pip alternatives. However, I don't see a single reason or point where you will have such conflicts during the next 14-15 days during the session. That is why I don't want to spend too much time on a hypothetical situation, right? But like the day you face that situation, do look into UV is my recommendation, and I've mentioned that here already. All right. If you edit on existing requirement, why would you edit an existing requirement or txt? What will be the reason for you to edit it? Path. All right, I think I've answered that question. In example.py, we could have the pip install package lines in beginning. That way, dependencies will get. That is usually not done. I'm guessing you could do it, but that's usually not done. That's usually done in Jupyter notebooks. What you're talking about. Abdur is saying is I can do pip install. This is not usually done, by the way. So it's not even recognized as valid syntax. I'm pretty sure it will throw an error. We can try it. What you're remembering is this code is valid in Jupyter notebook, which is a separate thing. There you go. Syntax error. That does not work that way. What you remember is this notation in Jupyter notebooks, which is separate. Jupyter runtime is slightly separate. All right, now it will work again. So that is not a valid syntax in Python files. I hope that clears things up. All right. So now I have given you a walkthrough of all commands. Let's take a look at all our commands quickly. We created a virtual environment using this. We activated a virtual environment. For deactivate, you just write deactivate or close the window, it will deactivate. Install one or more packages just in line, uninstall them just like this. Update your requirement.txt, just run pip freeze again. And if you want to install from requirement.txt, this is the thing that happens. So the relationship between your virtual environment and your requirement.txt looks like this. What will happen is you will have a virtual environment. Let's say this is your virtual environment, right? What you can do from here is you can create a requirements.txt or update it. And using this, you can create the virtual environment again. This is the relationship they have. After pip freeze, can I update the version? Yes, you can. Pip freeze doesn't freeze anything, it just lists it out. They just have terrible naming for the command like activate. For production deployment, where do packages get added? For production deployment, it will become too long, etc. I would say just go with Docker, right? That will answer a lot of other stuff that we might not want to get into. There are people who will optimize Python installation per server, etc., and get even more stuff out of it. But like Docker is a great starting point. It's like every time we change any packages version, we need to pop freeze and capture requirement. Yes. Typically, when you update a package, etc., you will do pip freeze to requirement.txt again. It's like every time which, yes, that's what the expectation is, that you will run pip freeze command every time you update one, update the package version, etc. Otherwise, somebody somewhere will face an issue. All right. So we have covered majority of the things. We'll do a quick revision, folks. We'll do a quick revision. How do you create gitignore files? You right click and create a new file. You name it .gitignore. Inside, you can list stuff out. And, I think cursor and everything will suggest you typical, or what you can do is you can Google for, let's go to ChatGPT and ask it, can you give me typical .gitignore for a Python project? And now I want to quickly showcase to you some AI use cases, but it will give you, you can search for it, etc. What is typically put into gitignore for Python project? This is the thing. Who's going to sit and remember all of this? I just like, for me, cursor just auto recommends this. All right, I can just copy that and I can paste that here, and that should be fine. That is another way to get it. All right. Before we move on to other topics, and I want to show you how to use AI to become faster at Python, would you folks like to do a quick revision before we jump into like using AI to learn Python topics? Yes, quick revision. Okay. We're installing runtime on Nix systems and Mac OS. There's system Python. We'll install user global Python. This is the global Python. This is the project Python. Project Python is virtual environment. On Windows, there's this user Python global and project. You don't have to worry about system Python. Nix system, etc., Mac OS, etc., will not that easily allow you to mess with your system Python, but on purpose, you want to leave it alone. All right. Anything above 3.10 will be fine. If you're not familiar with Git and GitHub, just get the GitHub app and sign up for a free account. That should be more than good enough to start. Now, commands for evoking Python and starting the runtime, etc., is Python 3 on Nix, Python 3, Python or Py before virtual environment on Windows. We use pip as our package manager. Package manager is like an app store. You can install or uninstall apps or packages using a package manager. We are using pip. Later on, you can look at UV. We create virtual environments so we can have different dependency trees, less conflict, etc. So two of my projects can stay on the same system and not go to war with each other. For that purposes, we create virtual environments. You can think of them as separate folders, silos, isolations, virtualizations for that particular project. Typically, you create one virtual environment for one project. More are possible, but let's start with one for each. There are a couple of things you do. First, you will create a virtual environment and you will create a recipe or the ingredient list. Every day, you will activate the virtual environment. You will install and install packages. Every time you install, uninstall, upgrade, etc., you are expected to run and update the list again. When we say activate virtual environment, we mean with the terminal window. You're not doing anything in the code. If the terminal window closes, the activation is gone. You have to activate again in a new window. Okay, and you list out all the requirements that you have, all the packages that you need, and their version in something called requirement.txt, using which you can create a virtual environment, or using your actual virtual environment, you can put the stuff in requirement.txt. When we share the project on GitHub, we don't put the entire virtual environment folder. We only share this requirement.txt, and it is usually in the same place as virtual environment folder. This is a virtual environment folder. This is my requirement.txt. This is more than enough signal to any Python person that they need to create a virtual environment right here and activate it and do pip install. And all the commands that I've given are right here. The commands are different before you activate. Once you activate, commands are same on Windows and Mac. And that is the summary of everything we learned quickly. Does Python use all cores while running program? It's single threaded. You can do multi-threaded stuff. So, but then you have to write that kind of code. Using workers, etc., it is possible to put them on different threads and therefore use different cores. But by default, it's a single threaded kind of system, right? So you're limited to one core essentially. Recording will stop in 2 minutes. I think, Karthik, can you take a look at that? Okay, that's for somebody note taker. My bad. That's a false flag. Now, if I understand correctly, VS Code is the platform for using Python. VS Code is an IDE where you can bring up your terminal and use Python. We are using Python inside terminal. For Windows people, it will be command prompt. For Mac OS and other people, it will be terminal. I'm just opening this terminal that is there on Mac, etc. I'm just opening it right here in VS Code, which makes it a lot easier to manage stuff. Okay, that is how we run Python. There are other ways to run Python as well. For example, I'm pretty sure they give a play button. If I go here, that's a breakpoint. That's a play button. I can click this, and it will also run the thing. But you can do that. But I don't know who does that. There you go. It ran the file as well. That's another way to run it. But like I don't usually use that, so I'm showing you the way. But terminal is where we run the command, so the code executes. All right. Now we can move on to AI bits. You are becoming a generative AI engineer, so use AI to your advantage. A lot of you, and I have given some of these prompts already in the document. I'll show you one of the prompts. All right. For example, let's say you're coming from some world, let's say Java or JavaScript. So I've given this prompt. What I'm saying is, hey, I come from XYZ language. Help me get started with Python 3. What are differences, common, gotchas, explain virtual environment, pick package, etc. I can literally copy this. I can go to my favorite AI. It will work with Gemini. It will work with whichever one you want. Be careful with Grok, but this question it should answer fine. And I will change this language to Java. And I can run the same prompt for JavaScript. I can run it for TypeScript. I can run it for whatever language background you come from. This should like give you a nice walkthrough instead of like making it complex. And a lot of time when you get stuck, this is a great place to get help. You can see here, this is a Java person's introduction. All right, this will be a TypeScript person's introduction. It's coming up. In fact, what I can do, let it write. What I can do is I can take some code that exists in Python. Let's say I don't understand what is happening. I can simply speaking, this is for TypeScript people. It's very good at that. AI is supremely good at that. Ask questions. Let's say I don't understand the code that is working. Okay, I can copy the code, entire code, and I can paste it here. And I can say, literally, can you give me a walkthrough of this code line by line? Also give me how entire code would be written in TypeScript. All right. And watch what happens. Still writing the TypeScript like thing. Yeah, it has a lot to say clearly for TypeScript people. Still ongoing? Okay, enough. Yeah. Can I use for IntelliJ? Sure. But then, if there's troubleshooting to do, I hope you can manage it on your own. Will we use a notebook for class? We will in future sessions. So it's my Python code is this, correct? Line by line, import ice cream. It imports a package named ice cream. What is it? It's for used for debugging. It's commonly used like this. Important points. Then line number. This is how it's done in TypeScript. Can you see how patiently it's telling me? A int one. This is what it does. Each part does. This is how it, for example, now this will become illegal. But Python will not stop you at runtime. Same thing I told you. These are not first class type support. This is how you do it in TypeScript, so on and so forth. And if you want, it can give you the entire code base in your own language, so you can start to familiarize yourself with it. Use it to your advantage. Use it to get ahead. Use it to like solve your regular issues. And AI is extremely patient with that. Plus, if it's an AI you've been using for a while, it will have your chat history. It will already know how you prefer to understand certain topics, etc. So it's a great tool for education. I highly recommend it. It will help you bridge the gap much faster than anything else can, right? Ruchir just says for non-coding background. No, I'm talking about for coding background people. Like I installed Jupyter and Accelerator extension in my VS Code, but I don't see either of them appearing in my left side panel. Neither do I have option to enable them. Jupyter will come to when we come to that. For Accelerator, they will have a tutorial, but you can usually do Command N. Okay, Command N doesn't work. I think I'll need to use this. Also doesn't work. I think I go to File New. Yeah. When I say File New, you will see Scene, Accelerator. So this is how you can start Accelerator, or you can just open Accelerator file and that will work. All right. But again, these kind of questions you can literally ask, ChatGPT. And I'm going to, in fact, do that right away to demonstrate that on purpose. Because you want to keep mentor and your time together for GenAI specific questions. That's why I'm showing you all these routes. It'll only benefit you. Is there a way to create modules like we do it in TypeScript? You will do it here as well. Yes, there is a way. But I don't want to overwhelm you right away. But long story short, in Python, everything is assumed to be a module. In the TypeScript space. And if you want it, I'll come to that. There you go. It has given us, why don't I see? Jupyter does not typically add its own parameter and activity bar icon. That's why you don't see. This also does not do that. That's why you don't see what to do. You can, for extension, you can do Command Shift X. It already knows I'm on Mac, so it tells me this. For you, it will say something else. Create or open a Jupyter notebook for this. And it's literally given you each an answer, and it's given you much longer and detailed answer than I can, because I'll have limited time. That is why you want to more and more start asking these kind of troubleshooting questions to AI and generative AI topic and conceptual questions to your mentor. It's not like your mentor will not answer your technical or troubleshooting question. It's just that that's not the best use of your and their time together, which is limited, while AI relatively is cheaper and will get into troubleshooting, etc. with you as well, right? I typically do that in a project when I'm learning a new language or starting a new project. So I can ask it to, hey, test me on all the 5 things we talked about last time, etc. Just one way to do it, right? Now coming to modules, somebody was asking, I'll quickly tell you. In Python, technically speaking, I should close that there's no reason for that to be open. I can create a folder and let's call it design system, for lack of a better word. And this can behave like a module. And typically what you do that is you create _ init _ py. And that is now a module. You can put Python files in it. Like you don't do export by the default export. So I don't want to again overwhelm you. But yes, you can create, now this is a module that you can import. So in my example.py, I should be able to do import design system. And there you go. Like it does not cry because it detects that there's a design system. All right. I can also do, from, design system, import something specific. There you go. That's also possible. But these are white because they are not detected. All right. So I can do that as well. That's why I say Yoda. Python is like Yoda. In all languages, you'll do import this thing from that. But here you do from design system, import this. All right. So that is how you create a Python module. Yes, thank you, Abdul, for repeating that. And again, my intent is not to escape your questions. Me or any mentor will be happy to answer, but everyone has limited time together, right? So that is why you want to balance it out. And usually there's more satisfaction when you can ask conceptual questions, right? Because those are very hard to get addressed outside. And AI there can hallucinate and like go all over the place, even though it's getting so much better. So use AI to your advantage. I've already given some example prompt. I've given some example links in the document, etc. And with that, almost I think we are at the end of this thing. Let me quickly check if I missed any other topic. We covered, Visual Studio Code, GitHub is we don't have to cover in great depth. Hugging Face, Gemini, Grok, etc. will cover. We covered this PowerShell issue. Windows people, yeah, I think we covered everything else. All right. Now, any other questions? Karthik, by the way, you can come back if in case you need to answer this. Does Python use all cores? I already answered your question, Deepti. Deepti, please pay attention so I can tell you it's a single threaded process. That means you're limited to one core only. There are ways to write multi-threaded Python. There are ways to, for example, use workers, etc., to split it across multiple threads, etc. If your workload is like that, which may allow you to use multiple cores, but by default, Python is single-threaded. Therefore, it will run on only a single core. I hope, Deepti, that answers your question. Can you drop a link to this document again? For sure. Okay. Next question that is there is, can you kindly add images of the whiteboard? I will share that at the end. Don't worry. Can we use VS Code in Windows for this instead of CMD? You will use VS Code in Windows. Yes, you will use VS Code in Windows. The only difference is when you come here, it might say PowerShell here. That is incorrect. You want to switch that to CMD and it will work in VS Code only. It's just a drop down click. It is not a big deal. And this is what it should look like. Let me show you once again. If you in Windows, if you see PowerShell, that is wrong. Click this arrow. It will show you a drop down. There will be a CMD there. When you click that, it will open a new terminal and you can use it. Pretty simple. It will still be in VS Code. All right. Can we use workers for multi-threading? Yes, Parth. Wish you can use workers for multi-threaded experience if your code is written like that. Does Python compile code? Does it only interpret its interpreted language? You can, if you want, compile it as well, but I would not encourage it. Not during the next 15 days. There's no reason for you to compile your code. There are some frameworks which will compile to PyC, which is again computer code, bytecode, etc. But there's no need to. It's an interpreted language, and there's benefits of that, so you want to keep it that way. For non-coding person, do you reckon the Python doc, if you shared, would be enough to understand future topics? If you're completely no coder, then there might be a little struggle because we will assume that you understand. For example, when mentor is talking about a GenAI topic, they're not going to sit and explain, hey, this is a variable, what a variable does, etc. So I highly encourage you to, in case you're struggling with code, etc., look at alternatives or at least familiarize yourself with those or use AI for that. But if you already are familiar with coding concepts, this should be more than good enough, right? Because a lot of people have written code back in the day, but don't write code now. Even then you can get through this course. And AI is great help. But if I say, hey, loop over this logic, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then things can be a struggle because loops are not something that we would want to start explaining from scratch, right? Because that's software basics. Thank you so much, Brian, for the appreciation. Really appreciate it. And now what I will do is I will share my whiteboard while Karthik takes it back. Karthik, I don't know if there are separate questions, etc. But I'm just sharing this. Meanwhile, you can take back and also do the LMS walkthrough in case people want it.
Just let me share my screen.
Yes, 1 second.
While Siddharth is going to share the Accelerator photos with all of you guys. Don't worry, folks. We'll also put in the link in the same document that Siddharth shared with you. We'll put it over there as well. I'm going to launch a... Sorry. I'm going to launch a poll.
Yes.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So, folks, I'm going to launch a poll. Basically, it's about what we call as mentor CSAT. There's going to be 3 questions that we ask. This we will do after every session because we also want to understand what you thought about the session. So, the first question goes about is the mentor's delivery style. Do you think the mentor has gone above and beyond to help you to understand those concepts that is there? Second one is about the quality of the session. Do you think that the session was interesting, good? You learned something new? For people who knew about Python, was it a good revision for you? And the third one is where you give us a written feedback so that if there's anything, we can also understand and work on it. That being said, I have launched the poll. You should see it on your screen. You can answer that poll.
So I'll put the files in the
Yes.
chat, and then I will put them in document, and then I will share them with Karthik so he can update it on your LMS as well.
Yes, I will. We'll upload it. How to use Fireflies? You can just log in. Once you log in, ideally it should join directly as well. If not, you can copy the link. You can go on Fireflies. You can click on capture and paste the link over there. Automatically, it will join your meeting. So that has shared the document, folks. You can download it, the image.
I'm also putting in the doc that we had.
Yes.
There's for people who want it right now. Anyway, it will get updated in your LMS.
Yeah. So Darshana, I'll take that question. In every 1 hour, 5 minutes break may not be possible in every session because, as the name suggests, it's an accelerator program. We have a lot of topics that we cover as well. Sometimes we will be able to take breaks. Again, today was just Python-based camp, so we did not take any break. Monday onwards, we will take a 5 minute break in between, but not every hour because there are 2 reasons. One, it breaks the chain of thought that the mentor is covering. Because if the mentor is covering some topic, he or she is explaining it to you, and then I come in between and say, "Hey, said, you know what? Hey, mentor, you know what? We have to take a break." The mentor will break the flow, and then again catching the flow sometimes takes time. So after a certain point, after a certain topic, the mentor themselves know that they have to give a break. Again, folks, this is the 5th time we are doing this cohort, so we are aware of it. I'll try my best to give you breaks in between so that you also get some time to regenerate and catch your understanding, take a deep breath, have some bio breaks. We'll try our best to do that.
Shreya is asking, do you want us to fork any repo, etc.? For your own practice, you can, but when we require this in the course, we will send it to you in pre-reads. Just feels like it was 1 billion challenges. Yeah,
Yeah.
always. Coding is always 1 billion challenges.
Do we need to RSVP for each and every Zoom meeting? No, you can just join
Yeah.
in at the moment. We may block your calendars. You don't need to always say yes. You can just join in the link using the joining link we'll share on the communities or on LMS.
Can I say myself as a generative AI engineer? You can say Tushar, but I think more than saying, what matters is you have projects in your portfolio which demonstrate it. Because calling yourself one doesn't really matter. People will not care as much. But if you can demonstrate the skill set, then you don't even need to call yourself one. And our focus is on skills and making sure that you understand things that are practically required for to take these AI projects live. And we have specifically chosen those topics. For example, Karthik was mentioning cost. Anyone who has realistically shipped any project is going to get questions around cost. And if you don't get it, don't worry. If you're in a startup, don't worry. Once you take it live, there will be hundreds of questions about cost when the bill starts rolling in. And therefore, we added that session. So the entire thing is handpicked for things that if you we assume that you are employed in whatever employer are working on your own project as a software engineer, you have to implement generative AI stuff, and you will need to be accountable for that. You will be understood as a person who has to handle that. And once you go through this course, you should be able to do all of the basics and a couple of advanced things required and expected of you. That is how we have designed this. So after this course, my hope is you will not care whether you put it in the title or not. If it matters, you can. But more important than what you write is what you demonstrate. And my focus will be on the demonstrable skill. All right. And thank you so much. I see a lot of thanks. I really appreciate it, folks. Will codes be run in VS Code or Google Colab? Both.
Of course.
Are we covering any evaluations? Not at the moment. If I have an issue while working or need some support, Karthik, can you cover that for support?
I'll cover the LMS part, yes.
Awesome. Awesome, folks. So I think that is it from my end. And if there's any question, you can obviously drop it in like circle the LMS, etc. Karthik will show you. Thank you once again for your enthusiasm. Thank you so much for bringing this amazing energy. I'm really looking forward for Monday, where I love it, the fact that I get to introduce you to generative AI as a topic. And I hope you are excited about that as well. So please practice Python with Python, build some projects, throw some projects over the weekend. And remember, no temptation, stay the course. All right. There'll be ample of time. After 15 days, you won't vanish, I won't vanish. So you can learn everything to learn about all those trajectories. But just basics is enough. If you can, if you write code day in, day out, trust me, like you'll be fine. Like there's no big deal. And if you understand, maybe you're a PM, who's not writing code, but you understand code, you'll be fine as well, right? So the world is opening up to more people, and you just want to be the where Python is not blocking to you, not irritating to you. That's where I would encourage you to get. Other stuff will take care of other stuff. If you get stuck, Prasad, Karthik will answer. He'll walk you through a bunch of options. All right, thank you so much, folks. I will catch up with you later. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. We'll see you on Monday,
Yes.
7 p.m. again. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, so now coming to your LMS related questions. Give me 1 second. Spotlight, yeah. So first I'll take the questions, then I'll take you to the LMS as well. No session this weekend. No, folks, you don't have any session this weekend because your accelerator has not even started. Folks, your engineering accelerator is going to start from Monday. Today was just an onboarding call where we converted it into a kind of a learning phase as well, because we thought, you know what, why should we wait till Monday to start learning? We started today as well. So you can go through the recording. Again, we'll be uploading by tomorrow morning. You can go through the Python Basecamp material that is already uploaded. All those materials you can go through, and your first session will start on Monday, which is going to be on chat completion and prompting and a lot of the topics that Siddharth is going to cover at 7 p.m. IST on Monday. So I hope how to get support. Now I'll come to that. Let me share my screen. You'll have to give me 1 second. Yeah. Folks, my screen is visible? Yes, no in the chat. Yes, awesome, lovely. So folks who are asking where they can access all these resources, if you've paid the complete amount, this is the first page you will see. I'm going through it all over again. I will answer whatever questions you may have will get answered. But still, if you have any, I'll take it towards the end. Okay. So this is the page that you will see if you've paid completely. Scroll down, book your one-on-one onboarding through this link. Just click on book one-on-one onboarding. Then our team, you will get a Calendly link. You can block a slot. You'll have like a half an hour kind of a discussion with our team where they'll help you walk through the entire LMS, redeem all the tools that are there in your bonus system, and give you an idea about the LMS. By chance, you've done your onboarding and now have queries related to it. Again, I repeat, if you've done your onboarding and then have queries regarding your tools, then you go to troubleshooting. How to join the WhatsApp community? Click on see more. Scroll down a little bit. Yes, this is your onboarding form, folks. Fill this onboarding form. This is the onboarding form. This is the WhatsApp community link. You have the program schedule and your bonus tool. You just can click on this. It will take you where your bonus tools are. Live sessions, everything will come here and on your WhatsApp community both. Now resources, for people who are asking where will I get all the resources and recordings, something called as resources and recordings. Here we will add new content where we'll add, for example, recordings. Then we'll add pre-reads, we'll add post-reads, we'll add decks. All of those things will be there like a drop down. You can click on it and you can go and check it out. All your resources also will be provided below the video. For example, let me show you. This is from C4. You guys don't have access to it, obviously. You can see pre-reads, session recordings. So for example, I open this. You see, here is the Accelerator ring that is there. This is for C4 that we had created. So here where you'll find your link. I hope that is clear. Going back to C5. Yes, folks, introductions. Here is where you'll come and give your intro. Why we need this? Because all your fellow learners, me, the Outskill team, even we want to know who you are, who's joined in, so that we can connect and understand you better. So before Monday, I want everyone to do their introductions. Otherwise, I will not start the session. So do your introductions before Monday. Ask doubts. This is where you can come and ask doubts regarding the session that you may have. Okay, someone has asked about multi-subscription. This we'll get into. But folks, for regarding the tools, I would recommend do not go and ask doubts. Any queries that you may have regarding tools, you can go back to the welcome message and do a troubleshooting call. If you still have issues regarding the tool, you can go to tech support and put it over there if you don't want to do a call. As simple as that. Ask doubts is regarding the session doubts that you may have regarding what you learned today or any such things. That is what you can do. How you can mention, okay, how you can mention this in CV? You'll get a certificate after you complete it. Reflections. Now, what reflection is all about? After we complete each sprint. So, folks, how many sprints do we have in this accelerator program? How many? Anyone can answer in the chat? 5 is wrong. 7, yes. Folks, we have 7 sprints. It's already there in your schedule also. If you don't know, check out. We have 7 sprints. Okay. We have 7 sprints over here. So in the 7th sprint, after each sprint, we do a reflection. Reflection is basically we go and understand 3 things that has really helped you in that particular sprint. How it can help you in your day-to-day work, in your personal work as well. So basically, it's a reflection on those 2 to 3 days. Why this is important, so that later on when you also try to understand what have you learned, what is the outcome that you've achieved, you'll be able to reflect back and understand about it better. It's like a revision in your own mind that you're doing what you've learned in 2-3 days, and then you're reflecting upon it. Gratitude is where we will come to show love towards the mentor. So for any mentor who's really helped, after every session, actually, not just any mentor, after every session, like after today's session now, I want you guys to go on gratitude and thank Siddharth on how the session has helped you as well. So how you post it, again, a lot of folks have seen I made that mistake in the past as well. When you click on new post, folks, this is the title. This is not where you write the entire thing. This is just where you will put the title, and how whatever message you want to write, you write below, not in the title. Okay. Now, any more questions regarding LMS? Where will all the links be showed after the session ends? Which links are you talking about, Supriya? Please be more specific. Balaji, if you're not able to access the whiteboard that Siddharth shared, don't worry. In the spreadsheet, the document that he shared, the main document that he shared, on that itself, we will add the Accelerator. I think so is already added. Whiteboard is already added over there. If you want, I'll share the link again. On this doc, first whiteboard is added. You can go and check out. Shreya, for the weekend, we will upload this recording, whatever you've done today or tomorrow, by tomorrow morning, within 12 hours, we'll upload this recording so that you can go through everything that Siddharth has covered again, and you can do your setup if not done already. Ujjwala, we will not be doing specific project related doubts because that's a 1v1 consultation. That is not something that we are doing over here. Rather, we'll focus on the topics that we want to teach you and to make you understand the concepts. Now, the concepts can be replicated in different industries, the concepts can be replicated in different projects, but each project is different. But the concepts, if they are used in all those places, will be similar. So, we'll help you understand the concepts. API credits, no, you don't need to buy API credits. Tushar, whatever on currently links are there over there, that is what it is. There's a high chance if you cannot see for that particular date, that is because it is all out of slots. So we don't have anyone who can take more slots. You don't need to get APIs, folks. We'll give you something which is called as Open Router API key. What Open Router is, if you want, I can share to you right now. But after I answer the questions, I'll tell you what Open Router is. What is expected us to complete during the weekend? Aparna, get some rest. That is definitely first, because after that the 14 days is going to be super heavy, super fun, where you'll not get a lot of time to breathe or to rest. Secondly, I would say have your setup ready, your environment setup. If you're using VS Code or Cursor or any such IDEs, have your environment setup ready, your Python installed, have your GitHub credentials ready. If you don't have an account, create your GitHub account, because we will also share a form soon where we will provide you with repos. There will be 2 repos that we will provide. One repo is where you will do your submissions, whatever assignments we'll give you, you'll do the submissions over there. Second repo is where I will give you all the codes. So each day, whatever code is covered, or some days which JSON file is covered, like in terms of automation, that code I will upload on a repo and give access to you. No, Rakesh, you don't need to buy any subscription like you answered. N10 has a free subscription model for 14 days. That is more than enough for practice. Suppose that if you want to buy, you can buy after 14 days. For coupon related queries, folks, I would recommend please go and do the troubleshooting call. You already have mentioned. There's a troubleshooting call where you can get in touch with our fellow teammate and they can help you with the codes. I hope that answers your question, Pradeep. But if you still have any issues, then you can write a mail to me and Shah. If you don't have permission for it, folks, we will get you the permission. Don't worry. I will mention to Sid to share the permissions for the Dropbox. Second, I'm just trying it. Oh, you'll have to download it and log in for Dropbox. But it's okay. We'll have the document. We'll upload the images. Uh, it's not something that I would suggest, Divya. It's from person to person use. I use a different VPN. Cham uses a different VPN. Uh, you can check out one, I forgot the name. WireGuard is something that I was using. I'm not sure. WireGuard was something that I was using. But you can get in touch with troubleshooting. You can ask them. They will recommend you the VPNs also. Tushar, if it's not available for the weekend, you can do it on Monday morning because there's a chance the slots are over. No, none of them are something that will install on your system. It is basically on your login. So even if you change your computer, your laptop, anything, if your login is same, you can do it. Where can you get the AI tool list that we are going to offer? If you've already paid full, you can go on the bonus tools, you will find it over there. Or just it depends if there are slots available because I think so a lot of you guys might have gone and booked your onboarding now because you've not done before. So the high chance the slots are over. And if the slots are over, there's nothing that even I can do. Uh, if you're not, if you're using couple app, does not allow Git. See if you can use any personal desktop or such things because there is no other workaround that I would see in terms of Git. Yes, those who don't have questions can drop off. Open router, you don't have to get, we'll get you paid API keys, which has a certain amount. How to use it, where to use it, I'll explain all of those things. Shikha, so to answer your question, I would say no, you don't require those tools in the 14 days. But I would definitely recommend to redeem it because all these coupons are based on availability. Sometimes our tie-up changes. Sometimes if we have those coupons now, we may not have after a month or two as well. If you don't redeem it now and you come after 1 to 2 months and ask me that, hey, I had that one particular tool access, but I'm not able to get the code anymore because the tie-up was over and we don't have codes anymore. So I would not recommend to wait for a couple of months before you get those. Folks, any question, any problems who are facing regarding tools, who have already done the onboarding call, go and book your troubleshooting calls. No, just Q&A. I'm not explaining anything more. Okay, one thing I can explain. Rakesh, yes, like I mentioned, the spreadsheet that I had shared, the complete program list that has already been shared. It is also on your LMS. We'll also put it in the WhatsApp community description. By Sunday morning, it will be updated with which session will be happening when. Some other day, not today, Abhinav. You will receive it on your mail. Okay. For folks who don't know what Open Router is, 1 second. This is what Open Router is. Basically, it's a platform which helps you connect with over 300 different models. These are different models, including OpenAI, Gemini, Quen, Claude, any model that you want, Sonnet, all of those models are part of this. NVIDIA, so there's over 300 different models. But again, we will provide only limited. Again, no other program provides, only we provide it so that you can practice. So we will tell you which models to use so that you don't run out of those credits. If you run out of those credits, I will not be able to generate again for you. All right. So now I would say the tools that we have provided you, all of those are for you to understand what tools are currently working in the industry, what is something that is valid and is something that you should look into and work towards. All of these tools may not be relevant in the engineering accelerator. Folks, we are techies. We build systems, we build workflows and tools rather than using tools. I told you, AI native engineers are not someone who use generative AI as a tool, but rather as a partner. You'll understand it more once we go ahead. Open order key will be disabled after the 14 days. It is generated in a way that is activated for those particular amount of days only, and then it gets automatically deactivated. All right. If no questions further, folks, all I'll say is I'll see you guys on Monday at 7 p.m. IST. I repeat, 7 p.m. IST for the folks who have not done the rest of the payment and want to pay but don't know how to get in touch with us. Sham, if you could share the admissions email ID. The open router key is not shared yet. It will be shared with you next week around Tuesday. Okay. Folks, for the support, there's admissions@outskill.com. This is where you can write your mail if you want to do the rest of the amount that is left. For any tools related issues, you'll go on troubleshooting. If anything program related issues, you'll write a mail to me and Shah. All right. And the calendar will be, yes, calendar invites will also be provided. Yes, if you have taken an EMI option, that means you've done full payment. This is only for people who have done the token amount. That's what I'm talking about. If you've done the EMI, you include it in the full payment. What are the next steps for Monday? I've already mentioned that do your environment setup and all of those things. Go through the recording that you'll see today. That's it for this weekend. What is my email? Sham, if you could share, I'll share it. This is my, okay, Sham has shared already, very fast. So you will send an email to one of us along with the second in CC, both of them. So it's one of us is busy, second can reply and get it done. This is program related. All right. For people who are asking about Open Router, you don't have to worry about it. I'll reiterate about it on Monday. No session this weekend, no, because your accelerator has not even started. This was just an onboarding and a base camp. Your accelerator actually starts on Monday. Dheeraj, if you want environment help, go through the recording that we'll upload. Siddharth already covered a lot of those things. Go through the document that he shared, go through the recording. Pose that if you still have issues, then you can put it on ask doubts on your LMS. If by chance me and Sham are busy, your fellow peers can also help you out. No. Content library is not something that you have to go through this weekend. No, that is something that we have provided you as a bonus that you should start going through it when you get time. For the accelerator, you don't need to have known before anything besides maybe a little in terms of coding. Rest, everything we are here to help you out. Open router is not something that you get an access to. It is not a platform as for what you're thinking. It is a place where you can generate your API keys. That's it. So it's not access that I'll be giving. I'll be giving you a few. I'll give you one API key to each of you guys, which will have certain amount of credits, which is enough for your assignments and your hackathon. If you use any heavy models or if you use it outside, you will run out of credits. If you run out of credits, I will not be able to generate a new one for you. Secondly, do not push your codes on GitHub when you have open router keys in it. Otherwise, they tend to disable. Schedule again, I will share, but I would recommend look into the schedule after Sunday. because that is when it will get updated with everything. Here is the schedule. All right. Thank you so much, folks, for joining in today. And all I'll say is I'll see you guys on Monday at 7 p.m. IST. Till that time, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks, depending from where you guys are joining in. Take care. Have a great weekend. See you. Bye bye.